Just gone towards 1 minute past 2, and the umpire is Darren Goldspink, and he'll throw it in the air, and it's gone high. It's got mud on the point. Landed in the arms of Cloak, who kicked it 15 metres. On hands and knees, trying to get it going there was O'Donnell of Essendon. Back into the centre of the ground. Wanganeen, a little kick off the ground. Got it across to kick it, trying to force his way out. He tapped it out, trying to get a player there. I can't, because there's 15 players within a radius of about 5 metres. As umpire Shane Harris will go in, and he'll throw up this ball right in the centre of the ground. The glue pot in the ball. Is this black? Well, it is black. The ball came out, and here go the Tigers going forward through Underwood. The ball spills inside 50. Here comes Weightman. A little kick, but it ended up there with Daniher. That's Anthony Daniher playing game 200. The hand pass came out, but the game has been stopped. It must be 50 metres. The free kick goes to Izard. Meantime, Richmond kicked the ball through the scoring area, and that incurred a 50-metre penalty, which will see the man on the mark have to travel right into the centre of the ground. So Nace standing the mark for Richmond. Izard has the football. We've gone 1 minute into this first term. Here comes the lead. A skew kick bounces to half forward through the arms of Buick. Held was free. Lee's there as well. Kicked off the ground over there by Turner. Turner of Richmond sees the ball spill towards Mitchell, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds on the outer left half-back flank for Essendon. Travelling the football to the Napier Street or Showers Pavilion end of Windy Hill this afternoon. Light rain falling. The ball now back into the arena. It went crooked over the top. Cloak couldn't get it. Kicked off the ground by Smith of Richmond. Came into Weightman, who couldn't get it. Going through for Essendon was Morris. He couldn't, but there's a free kick. It will go to the Flea.
Weightman on the centre wing position on the outer side of the ground has driven the ball up towards centre half forward. They massed there. Down off the packet, went over towards O'Donnell. Going to be kicked off the ground or hooked back by Ryan. Ryan of Richmond caught. Got the ball, got rid of the ball in the nick of time. It's going to be kicked off the ground over towards the half-forward flank on the member side of the ground. A chance there for Richmond through Powell. Powell's had a dividend. He's had a go at the goals, but it's knocked through by Salmon. At least Salmon. There may have been others, but it was punched through for 1 point to the Tigers on the 3RW Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard. So it's a tense, tight affair in the first minutes, the opening scramble, as it were. And Daniher, Anthony Daniher, kicks it wide over in the direction of Gale out there on the outer side of the ground. Gale slips and slides. It's kicked off the ground by Nace upfield on centre wing position on the outer side of the ground. Soccer's the order of the day. Knocked back. A chance there for Bauer, but it was over the line before he could get possession of the ball, and it's out of bounds. Chris Daniher coming on the ground quickly to replace Morris, who is obviously injured. The ball centre wing position on the outer side of the ground. A point to the Tigers. Essendon yet to score. Boundary umpire whirls and twirls it back into play. Salmon won the ruck duel there, won it quite conclusively. Picked up over there by Young of Richmond, kicking up towards centre half forward. Lambert was high, had a swish there, knocked down a good hand pass from Nace across to Mitchell. Went a metre too far, lost the ball, but it spills out to Powell, who's hooking it up towards goal, and he just touched on the way through by Anthony Daniher, who's stretched quite a bit, and that's another behind to the Tigers. They're 2 behind, 2 points.
Bill, I noticed Morris off the ground with what appears to be a serious hand injury. The doctor not impressed. Chris Daniher on the ground. About to come back into play from Anthony Daniher, and he's kicked it upfield, and the mark is taken there by Johnston. Johnston of Essendon playing in the back pocket, hand passes very quickly across, and Essendon go away with Fox kicking around the outer side of the ground over towards centre wing position, but it's a free kick, and the Tigers are going to get the free kick, and it will be taken by Goodwin. Goodwin at centre wing on the outer side of the ground. The Tigers coming into attack again up towards the members' end. It's going to drop a little bit short. Coming at the back there and knocking it away was Gale. Turner was up there on the ground at the 50-metre line on the outer side of the ground, and the umpire's elected to bounce the ball. Now, if we say it's going to bounce it, he's going to try it up in the air. That will be the order of the day. It's just a matter of interpretation anyhow. It's 2 behinds to Richmond. Essendon yet to score. Up she goes in there, Salmon. Salmon won it again. Got it down very quickly. Fox had a kick at the ball. So too did Buick, knocking it out there, and it's coming away with the ball now, Buick. Hand passes out quickly to Long and back to Buick, and away they go around the outer side. Kicked into the man coming across his path. On the rebound, it came back to Long and hand pass to Izard. Izard up towards the centre half forward spot. It was knocked away. It's out there in the direction of Cloak on Richmond's half-back line on the outer side of the ground. He literally scooped that one away. It's gone close to the line. Boundary umpire sees it kept into play. Essendon going to attack, and the ball will reach McMullen up there, I think it may be, on the half-forward flank on the outer side of the ground.
and kicking up towards the school end. 2 behinds to Richmond, Essendon yet to score. The Bombers coming in now to boot it long up towards the school end. It's over the back of the pack. Touched by Ryan, and it went over the line to be thrown back into play. 5 minutes in, Richmond 2 behinds, Essendon yet to score.
Anything happening with you, Gary Brice, yet?
Yes, Melbourne a 1-1-7 to Fitzroy, no score.
Ball out of play, back in now, knocked out by Madden, went down to little Filandia. He got it going. Kicked off by Richmond's Underwood, spills to the 50-metre, kicked off the ground, and here come the Tigers again. This time they try to go through Ryan, but he can't get it, and trying to get it going there further afield was the boy there, Wanganeen. It went out to kick it of Essendon. He balks his way through and kicks it over the boundary line and out of bounds, and Goodwin will take the kick. Sam Newman at Moorabbin, anything starting there yet?
No, nothing.
Okay, Shane Healy, Princes Park.
No start here.
Okay, Johnny Murphy, VFL Park.
Brisbane 2 goals, North Melbourne 1 goal.
Goodwin kicks it just outside 50. Up high was Ryan, couldn't get it going. Spawn on the draw. He's got a short kick. Madden can't lead. Good play by Lees. The ball spills out to Goodwin of Richmond. He spills the football. It went out further afield to Mitchell, who hand passed. Good interception by Long, and the ball's over the boundary line, and here's Ron Barassi.
Yes, interesting to see that Gale is at full forward for Richmond. Watson at full forward for Essendon, with Madden opening up in the forward pocket.
Madden is in ruck now against Cloak. Cloak from behind. He thumped it back towards the boundary line. It'll go very close. Lambert kicked it off. Don't give him a kick, Bondi, because I think it just went over the boundary line, and it only travelled about 1/3 of a metre.
It's out on the half-forward flank for the Bombers on that outer side. They're going around that way, taking the traffic up towards the school end. They've yet to score, and the Tigers have scored 2 behind. Boundary umpire's got it now. Getting it back into play. Madden coming in against Cloak. Cloak won it. Tapped it short, hoping for somebody to be at the base of the pack. Nobody was until Mitchell came in. He's had a few touches. Knocked to the ground. Kick it in there again. So too is Wanganeen. And they're trying to Fossick the ball out, but it's a hopeless cause. And the umpire's going to come in and throw the ball up. Between the half-forward flank and centre wing for the Bombers, outer side. Going up to the school end. 2 behinds. Plays no score on the 3W scoreboard. Incoming Cloak, and Cloak won it again. It went down. Might have been a free kick to Essendon. And it'll be Wanganeen coming up with a free kick. He was dragged over the shoulder, and he will get the free kick for being held when not in possession. Wanganeen out near centre wing, driving it across towards the centre half forward spot. There high at the back was Madden, trying to pinch it out of the air. I said trying to pinch it out of there. Did he mark it, Ron?
Well, I was looking more at Somerville, who was at the back, and I thought this guy's going to take it. He didn't get within a bullseye of it, and I missed the exact hand efforts of Madden, but whether he's bluffed the umpire or not, I don't really know.
I wasn't too sure. I used the term trying to pinch it out of there. He finished with the mark, and that's all that matters. And having a shot from point-blank range, and he's kicked a goal. That's a nice start for the Bombers at 7 minutes into the quarter. They chose to kick to the school end. They've kicked a goal, and Richmond 2 behinds. Fair bit of Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard.
Gary Brice at the MCG.
Melbourne a 1-1-7, Fitzroy, no score.
John Murphy, VFL Park.
Brisbane lead 2 goals to North Melbourne 1 goal.
Any late change down at Moorabbin, Sam Newman?
Well, Craven's out for St Kilda and Kitchke's in.
Thank you, Shane Healy, Princes Park, both sides on the ground.
Just started here, but no score.
Umpire Darren Goldspink. We send a special cheerio to Bob Stewart in the repatriation hospital. Get back to that shortly. Knocked out by Salmon, kicked off by Buick. Here comes Goodwin playing his 50th game. He's grabbed, got to get rid of it. Tried to hand pass to Ryan, but it went straight to Spawn. Here comes Watson over his head. Lees is interfered with. Kicked off the ground by Buick. The skew with, kicked off the ground by Watson. Filandia's got a shot. It's been kicked off, but touched through. Buick kicked it. Good, touched by Goodwin in the depths of defence at the grammar school end of the ground. So it's going to be Hogg now, kicking it outside 50. Essendon 1-1-7, Richmond 2 behinds, 2 points. Play on, said the umpire. Scooped off the ground by Ryan of Richmond. Kicked off the ground by Spawn. It spills towards Weightman, who tapped it out. Coming through is Nace, he's grabbed. Also in there was Tony Free, but the umpire hugged himself, and he'll throw it in the air.
Well, it's around about the half-forward flank on the member's side for the Bombers. Going around the member's side up towards the school end. Cloak won it again. Went down the direction of Filandia, who can't get it out. The umpire will throw it up again. Short quarters today, bound to be in the conditions. So we'll have a lot of open line at the end of the game, that's for sure. 1-1-7, 2 behinds, 2 points. Just looking to the future, Ron. Don't like to at times. Now, knocking it away. Madden had it, lost it, went to Wanganeen, kicked off the ground, and kicked off the ground by the Tigers. That was Underwood kicking up towards the centre of the ground, likewise by Fox. In towards centre half forward for Essendon, down on the ground. A chance for Young. Young of Richmond had it, lost it. A mad kick, I was going to say, a wild kick in mid-air, and the free kick is going to go to Essendon. It goes very quickly. out to Wanganeen, who got it across to O'Donnell, kicking it long, but sitting back there and taking the mark, showing good judgment as David Cloke. In the back pocket on the member side, defending at the school end, drops a short pass and looks ungainly, Clokey. Went to Smith, who took the mark, kicks it over towards Mitchell. Mitchell standing right on the boundary line, but it was too long for him, and it's over the line out of play, and the free kick will go to Essendon and be taken by Spawn at the 11-minute mark of the quarter.
So Spawn runs around Mitchell, kicks it long in towards Madden. From behind, Cloke got it down through the arms of Lees. On top of the ball, Underwood can't get it going, and Johnson had a fresh air shot for Essendon. Kicked off the ground by Free of Richmond into a maze of players, and the umpire will bounce. Gary Brice at the MCG.
Melbourne lead by 1 goal. They're 1-1-7. Fitzroy a 1 point.
The umpire is Darren Goldspink, throws it in the air. Grabbed by Somerville, kicked it but didn't go too far. Knocked out by Goodwin, went out to Spawn. Spawn picks it up as if it's dry. In trouble, runs around Underwood, who climbs around the fence. A skew-whiff kick fell into the arms of McMullen. He runs around. He's done a big, long kick and it floats in the air, but it doesn't go anywhere except to Filandia, who's kicked a goal. How about that for a charity? Well, it wasn't a charity because he probably earned it. He was there at the right time, but if they come any easier than that, I want to know about it. The 3W Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard. Essendon 2-1-13, Richmond 2 behinds 2 points. Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
Point and St Kilda are nothing.
Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 6 points. They're 1-1-7. Fitzroy are 1 behind.
Gary Brice. I just went to Gary Brice.
That's right.
Go to you, Shane Shortley. Ball back in the centre.
Shortly Shane, 12.5 minutes into the quarter, knocked down by Cloke at the centre bounce. Players sprawl in the mud patch there. No runs on that track, that's for sure. Out in the direction of Kicker, who plonked himself on the ball. Eventually picked up by Chris Daniher. Travelled a little distance. Somerville had a kick. That was smothered. It's still in the centre of the ground, would you believe? And they're still trying to get it out, and came out through Smith. Smith got it out, but was pinched by Long. Long kicks to the half-forward line on the outer side of the ground. Doing good work there is Tony Free. Sucks it off the ground, out in the direction of Powell. Somebody went to the ground pretty heavily there. The umpire allowed it to go on. Now he's coming in to bounce the ball at centre wing.
Shane Healy, Princes Park.
Short Shane here. Carlton a point. Adelaide a point.
John Murphy, VFL Park.
North Melbourne 3 goals, Brisbane 2 goals.
He got the message up into the air. It goes on centre wing position on the outer side of the ground. Ruckman vie for possession there. It was Salmon Easley. Down on the ground it goes. They're trying to get it out. It came out to kick it. I'll swear it's kick it. He's kicked it up towards the centre half forward spot. Went through the legs of a couple of players. Tony Free on the top of it. Now they're coming out to do good work. There is the big fellow in Goodwin. Onto the left foot out to the outer side. Picked up by Buick. Buick kicking it long in towards a forward pocket, and Goodwin's going to repulse this attack by taking the mark. He's in the back pocket on the outer side at the school end. 13.5 minutes have gone by in the quarter, and Goodwin comes out with a score 2-1-2 behind Essendon leading. One kick by Filandia, one kick by Madden. Down Lucidus at centre wing, and kick it playing a prominent part in the game. Picks it up, whips it up towards centre half forward. Touched by Ryan on the way through. A chance for Essendon there, but it's kicked off the ground up towards the half forward flank. Ryan kicks it off the back flank again, bringing it around the member side of the ground. He picks it up, has his kick, got his kick in the nick of time, up towards the half forward line. Lambert in the front berth in front of O'Donnell, went to the ground, play on the call. Lambert picked it out, fossied it out, went out quickly, picked up by Fox. A hand pass quickly across to Chris Daniher. Powell smothers it, slips and slides on the centre wing position, got out of trouble. Hand pass to Bauer on centre wing, hand pass back to Smith. Smith couldn't get rid of it. Play was the call, good umpiring there. Lambert allowed it to go on, went to Powell, ball, the crowd cries shut up, and it's over the line out of bounds. Centre wing position on the member side of the ground, idiots they are. It's 2-1-2 behinds on the 3W Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard.
Thank you very much. Ball now, interchange area. Back it goes. And up goes the big fellow, Salmon over the top. Ryan couldn't get it going. Kicked off the ground by Spawn. Picked up by Lambert of Richmond to Ryan. Here comes Keggett. Bowers got it. Runs away. Kicks a high ball to centre half forward. Jumping high. Turner couldn't get it going. Ryan's picked it up. He's playing well, the boy from Birchip. And there it is. A big punt kick down towards the forward zone. Gale might have had enough for mine. Play on, said the umpire. Izard tries to gain possession. It comes out into the direction of plenty of players, including Knights, but the umpire said play on. Here comes Mitchell on hands and knees. Edward Fox hand passed it to O'Donnell. O'Donnell kicks it long, but it's going to be marked by Powell.
Powell on the centre wing on the member side of the ground. He gave it across to Ryan. Tigers combining well, working into centre wing to half forward flank. Smith has got it, kicks it long up towards the full forward spot. In the front berth was Gale off across his path. Several players down to the ground again. May have been events cricket. No, picked up or kicked off the ground by Izard. Lambert picked it up very well there. Broke away, was smothered. with it, knocked it away. The hand pass out to Mitchell. Mitchell sprawling on hands and knees, sliding and getting away, broke it. 45 metres out, Mitchell. Got a kick just in the nick of time. It's short, in towards the centre half forward spot beyond that area. Scooped out. That looked a bit suspicious, but went to Kickett. Kickett's got it. He's had about 5 or 6 touches at least. Out to Mitchell. Knocked away from Mitchell. Over towards the boundary line. Out of bounds to be thrown in. Yes, said the umpire. 50-metre line member side at the grandstand end. How many possessions, Mitchell, please, Bondi?
Michael Mitchell's had 1 kick, 2 hand passes.
That all. Back at a play it comes, knocked away by anyone, if you like, picked up by Weightman. A hand pass very quickly. Too slow the Tigers there. Tried to knock it away was Goodwin. It came out to Powell, and the free kick is going to go against the Tigers. It'll go to Essendon, and it'll be taken by Spawn. I think it is Spawn. You can recognise him at the moment anyhow. On the half-back flank on the member's side, driving it to Watson, who slipped in the centre weird area, knocked it away out in the direction there of little fella Filandia. Kicked it off the ground, up towards full forward. Lees attempted to kick off the ground. In fact, he succeeded. So did Buick. Travel only about 3 metres. It's impossible for them to be terribly skillful. They're doing very well in the conditions. Might have been a free kick there, but it's picked up by Buick. Half forward flank, member side, and Cloak dropped back to take the mark. 18 minutes gone.
Big Clokey's got the mark. Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
Geelong are at points and Kilda haven't scored.
Clokey now deciding to kick it wide. He'll look for Lees, and Lees marks in front of Chris Daniher. Left half-back flank. Richmond going to the Napier Street in short. Powell is marked. Powell at half-back. A long bomb to half-forward looking for Turner. One-handed mark by Turner was a rip snorter. Well done against Edward Fox. That was good pressure marking. He's got a lead out further, and it goes to Smith, and Smith juggles the mark in front of Kickett. So left half forward, 60 metres out at the Napier Street end. Smith has spiralled the punt kick off the side of his boot. It slews in towards the ground, and here comes Spawn. Magnificent pickup. He was tackled too high, and Spawn will take the free kick at centre half back, with Essendon going to the school end of the Windy Hill Oval this afternoon. He kicks it out looking for Terry Daniher. Here comes trouble for Terry over the top. Scott might have infringed. Play on, said the umpire. Filandia on top, and so is Little Johnson, who scoops it over the boundary line and out of bounds. Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 9 points. They're 2-1-13. Fitzroy are 4 points.
Ball back into play from behind Turner, right over the top. Salmon must get the free kick.
Well, somebody's got to get on top, I guess, and it was on top of Salmon that time on the half-back flank on the member's side. Salmon drives the ball around beyond centre wing, still taking the traffic around that wing. Up to Cloak. Cloak thumped it out, went short, picked up by Turner across to Free. Free's kick is short. Kick, goodness knows how many possessions he's had. Bondi will tell us after he's had this kick or when we stop. Kicker has kicked to the half-forward flank and taken the mark. McMullen, how many possessions?
That was his 5th kick for Kickett, 1 hand pass as well.
McMullen now, 50-metre line on the member's side of the ground. Driver getting very dark repenting. That's a ripper. That's the Prima Holiday goal of the day, no matter what. That was a bumper, that one from McMullen. And there, Essendon 3-1-19. Essendon 2 behinds on the third of it. Dan Murphy.
Here's Ron Barassi.
That's where you see the Torp at its best with a heavy ish ball. Wet day, he's really connected with that. A terrific kick and marvellous work in the centre on the part of Kickett to get Kickett's absolutely dominating that centre area. He's in amongst that dark black patch. Won't be long before we can't even see him once the weather gets dark as well. Dark mud, dark fellow, and dark weather.
And dark looks back into the centre. There's Darren Inch out there too, by the look of it. Out it goes, out to right onto the left foot, up towards centre half forward. Weightman marked it. Weightman at centre half forward for Richmond. About to drive it back or further afield. Up there's a decent sort of a kick too. It's reached the goal square, and at the back was Daniher punching at the brother Tony. Down to the ground it goes. A chance there for Kickett. It's free. It's in the forward pocket for Richmond on the member side of the ground. And the umpire hastens in to bounce it.
Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 9 points. They're 2-1-13. Fitzroy are 4 points.
Shane Healy, Princes Park.
Carlton lead by 7 points. 1-2-8. Adelaide 1 behind 1 point.
Ball thrown up in the forward pocket for Richmond member side. Down to Nacy. Picked it up very well, and his kick just slides through for 1 behind. So the Tigers are on to 3 behind, chasing Essendon 3-1.
John Murphy at VFL Park.
North Melbourne lead by 1 goal. 4 goals to Brisbane 3 goals.
Anthony Daniher kicks it back into play, playing his 200th game, and that's a lovely kick out the direction of Spawn. Cloak was up, nearly dragged it down, had 2/3 of a mark. The umpire called play on. He's fossicked it out now, and it's going to be bounced or thrown up on the half-forward flank for Richmond, out of side, and they're kicking up towards the members' end of the Essendon Recreation Reserve. 3-1 to 3 behind. The ball in play, knocked out by Salmon. A little cluster of players that came out to Weightman. He evaded all tackles and kicked it long up towards the full forward area, and it bounces a bit too long for Anthony Daniher. Out of bounds, out of play on the forward pocket on the members' side at the members' end, and it's 3-1 to 3 behinds on the 3W Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard.
So the ball now out of play, right forward pocket for Richmond, right over the top, knocked out by Anthony Daniher, down to his brother Chris. Chris hand pass it to Fox. Fox kicks a little kick off the ground. Weightman trying to stage the free kick. Stacks on the mill and the umpire will bounce. Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
St Kilda are a goal, Geelong are a point.
Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 9 points. They're 2-1-13 to Fitzroy, 4 points.
The umpire is Shane Harris. He throws it in the air. There it goes. Sits nicely for Turner. Turner of Richmond knocked it out. Here comes Smith, but he allowed Powell to give it. And Powell tried to give it to Weightman, and the ball went over the boundary line and out of bounds. Shane Healy at Princes Park, your score.
Oh, it's tough here. 1-2 to 1 behind Carlton by 7 points, but very, very wet.
John Murphy at VFL Park.
North Melbourne lead by 7 points, 4-1-25. Brisbane 3 goals.
Ball back into play. Hit O'Donnell right on top of the scone. Kicked off the ground there by Essendon's Wallace. And the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds.
Wet weather seems to get to Shane, doesn't it? He keeps on telling us. Is it wet out there, Shane? Ball back into play now on the forward pocket on the members' side of the ground at the members' end. Down it goes. A chance there for Chris Daniher. Picked up by Buick. Buick's kicked it upfield. Ryan sprawling forward. Kicked off the ground again. Over towards the boundary line. That's the umpires elected to pay the free kick to the Tigers. And getting up and looking a bit rueful about things for the Tigers is Hogg on the half-forward flank on the members' side of the ground, or Goodwin. Yes, Goodwin on the half-forward flank on the members' side of the ground, kicking up to the members' end, and the Tigers yet to score a goal. 3 behinds they've kicked, and Essendon 3-1 on the 3W Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard, and players running around like ants up there at the members' end now. Goodwin taking plenty of time, and he needs to too, because the Tigers need a goal, and the surface is slippery, and the ball would be slippery, and now he's lining them up to the hoots and jeers of the crowd here at Essendon, and Goodwin puts it on its way. But it's offline, that's 1 point only. So that's the Tigers' 4th behind. Essendon remain on 3-1 on the 3W Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard, and Anthony Daniher getting a message from the runner. I don't know what he could tell him there at that particular stage, because he's got to kick it back into play, and he did as he was told. Kicked upfield, and the mark taken there by Fox, who's a likely-looking customer nearly every time we see him. Fox now, 15-metre penalty against Richmond. That'll be against young Scott, and that'll bring Fox up near enough to a position, or to a position between centre-half back and the centre of the ground, nearer to centre-half back. He'll commence his run to take his kick from that position. Crossing into the square now, and Fox has kicked it about 40 metres upfield, up towards the half-forward line, and the mark taken up there on that half-forward flank by Smith. Half-back flank for the Tigers. He kicks it wide, over towards the members' side of the ground, leading in the race for the ball O'Donnell, but has beaten everybody. Out of play it goes, 3-1 to 4 behinds, Essendon leading.
John Murphy at VFL Park.
North Melbourne lead by 7 points, 4-1-25. Brisbane Bears 3 goals.
Ball out of play. Back in now. Good throw in. Knocked out by Turner of Richmond. Over the top of the ball, Daniher Anthony. Kicked off by Turner. Went straight into the hands of Kickett. Kickett hand passes to Wallace. Wallace is dispossessed. Knocked out to Buick, who's tackled. Had no chance to get rid of it. No chance to get rid of it, but Goodwin's got the free. Hand passes it to Smith. Smith of Richmond to right half forward. Here comes Scott. Punched away from Gale. Play on, said the umpire. There is a free kick for throwing against Izard, and it's going to go to Scott. So Scott of Richmond stands 50 metres, 45-degree angle. Let's get a look at what he's going to do. He's going to kick it long to Powell. And Powell has marked in front of Anthony Daniher. So Powell will kick into the face of this strong southwesterly here at the Napier or Showers Pavilion end of Windy Hill this afternoon. Close to the man on the mark. Skew-whiff kick it is. Thumped through by Salmon. Hit the post. And 1 behind, 1 point. Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard. Richmond 5 behind, 5 points. Essendon 3-1-19. Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
Geelong are 1-2-8. St Kilda are 1 straight goal.
Terry Daniher has got Buick on his own. Spears it down his front. Buick over the top. 9-iron. Little chip went to Spawn. Through his legs. Bow kicked it off. It skims out towards the boundary line. In fact, as I speak, it goes over. Gary Brice, MCG.
15-point lead to Melbourne. They're 3-1-19. Fitzroy are 4 points.
Ball's out of bounds downs here between centre wing and half forward flank for Richmond. They're going around the members' side, the outer side of the ground, the bowling green wing, as we used to term it. It's back into play, and Cricket had a swipe there, may have even got it really. It's gone into the centre of the ground. It's kicked off the ground up towards centre half forward. There's a chance there for free, knocked away from him. Down on the ground it goes. Lambert coming in too. Can't get the run of the ball at the moment, Lambert. Picked up by Izard. Kicked wide out to centre wing. Out there is Buick, splashing his way through the water and picked it up beautifully. From centre wing, he's directed the ball up towards the half forward line. Over there is Watson. He took a good mark. A good wet weather mark, they used to call that. And Watson's got it now. Well, it is wet weather, so it's still a wet weather mark. Watson now. That's a booming kick up towards the centre half forward spot. Beyond, knocked down by Lees. A chance there for Wanganeen. So too is Filandia in there and trying to Fossick it out. Several players. Nobody can. Holding the ball as a call against the Bombers. And the free kick will possibly go to Brendan Bauer up there in the back pocket area. Wanganeen and Bauer having a disagreement about something, and Bauer's coming up with a free kick anyhow as we reach the 24 3/4 minute mark of the quarter. And as I suggested earlier, there won't be much time on in this game the way it's being played at the moment. Bauer out towards centre wing. Down it went there. A chance to Mitchell. Picked up. Knocked away over on the half forward flank on the outer side of the ground. Nobody able to get the ball out of a mass of players there. The umpire's found a free kick for holding the ball. And it's going to Essendon on this occasion, so anyone that drops on the ground is a bit foolish because there's not much chance of them getting a free kick from that position. It's Wallace with the ball over there on centre wing, driving it towards the centre half forward spot and just waiting there, cool, calm and collected to take the mark. It might have been Johnson. Coming upfield, he spears it across to Salmon, and Salmon's marked well within scoring distance despite the weather and the condition of the ball. He will kick from about 40 metres out, and he's kicking towards the school end. 25.5 minutes played. Essendon 3-1 lead. Richmond 5 behinds. That's 4 scoring shots to 5. I don't think it means a great deal under these conditions really, because the wind hasn't been a factor that I can see. And Salmon crossing the 50-metre line now, skipping in, putting it on its way, puts it on its way, and it's well and truly through. No, I think it might have gone just a little wide that time. It's 1 point only. Essendon 3-2 lead. Richmond 5 behind.
Hogg's got the ball at full-back. Sam Newman, your score?
Geelong by 2 points, 1-2-8, St Kilda 1 straight goal.
So Hogg puts the football on its way, favours the members' side. The wind gets it a little bit. Nearly a good mark by Spawn. He hand passed to Kickett. Kickett couldn't get it going. Coming through is Powell. Powell kicks it long, and it will spill towards the boundary line. In fact, as I speak, go over. Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 7 points. They're 3-1-19. Fitzroy are 1-5-11.
Shane Healy.
The Crows by 5 points. 2-1-13 Adelaide. Carlton 1-2-8.
Ball back into play, knocked out by Goodwin. Over the top comes Buick out of play. John Murphy, VFL Park.
North Melbourne by 7 points, 5-1-31. Longmire 2 goals, Brisbane 4 goals straight.
Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard. Essendon 3-2-20. Richmond 5 behinds, 5 points. Knocked out by Madden, picked up by Weightman of Richmond. He kicks it down and a nice mark has been taken by Turner. So Turner kicks it in towards centre half forward for Richmond. It spills into the arms of Mitchell. He went, the ball didn't. Over the top long, trying to look for the free kick. Here comes Chris Daniher. Bursts his way through the pack, but he missed the pill. Fresh air shot. Went out to Buick. Here comes the little boy Nace. It's spilled into the arms of Smith. A skew-F kick, and Izard has marked.
Marking on the half-back flank on the members' side, defending at the members' end, and Izard looking to kick long. He's resisted a chance or a call from Terry Daniher, and he's going to kick it around the members' side of the ground. This he does, up towards centre wing position. Richmond sitting back there was Goodwin. He knocked it away. Buick had it, and is grabbed. We're not in possession according to the umpire. We thought it was a line ball, but nevertheless Buick has the free kick. On centre wing position on the members' side. He tried to get past Good. Well played, Goodwin. Oh, might have been a holding the ball, but however, it's picked up by Wallace. Picked up and kicked over towards the half-forward line. Wanganeen there, resisted the tackle. Quarter 27 minutes. Quarter-time scores, 3W. Dan Murphy Sellers scoreboard. Essendon kicked 3-2-20. Richmond 5 behind, 5 points.
Sam Newman.
Goals in an unusual way. They definitely haven't dominated the game, and Richmond are still in it.
Brand new footy goes in the air. Knocked out by Madden. It's already black. Kicked off the ground by Goodwin. Went to kick it. He kicked it back 20 metres. It was marked by Wanganeen. Hand passing to Buick. Buick goes through the pack like a big, big tiger. Was marked by Hogg. He spilled himself into that mark and showed a lot of courage. Hogg at half-back kicks a high ball. He'll be going out there looking for and finding Underwood. Underwood of Richmond marks and runs away on outer wing position and kicks it long. Here comes the lead further afield. It came down there from Turner. Play on, said the umpire. Stacks on the mill. The umpire hugs himself and will bounce. Sam Newman at Moorabbin, your score.
Geelong by a point, 2-2-14. St Kilda 2-1-13.
Umpire Darren Goldspink throws the ball in the air. Knocked out by the big bloke. That was Gale. It came down to kick it again, but the hand pass came out into the direction of Turner. Turner hand passes to Powell. Powell lines a football up and kicks it out of bounds. Gary Brice, MCG, has got Melbourne leading by 6 points at quarter time. Let's go to Shane Healy at Princes Park.
A big goal to Michael Murphy puts the Crows 2 goals up now. Adelaide 3-2-20, Carlton 1-2-8.
Johnny Murphy's got North Melbourne leading the Brisbane Bears by 8 points, but the umpire blows time on or time off. It doesn't matter, and the ball skids back into the arms of Anthony Daniher.
They've tried to get it out to Buick with handball. The umpire wouldn't allow that and ordered him to kick back over the mark. It's 3-2-5 behinds. Daniher taking it around the outer side of the ground at 2 minutes into the second quarter. They massed there. Cloak had a slice of the action. It's kicked back upfield, up towards Richmond's half-forward line, beyond that area, and it's dribbled over the line out of bounds. And the umpire has played the free kick to Richmond. That might be Ryan over there in the forward pocket on the outer side of the ground, kicking up towards the school end. It's 3-2-5 behinds, and a chance for the Tigers to score from about 40 metres out. It's going to be, I think, Gale now coming in to take the kick, and he's right beside the windsock, and by the look of the sock, that wind should assist Gale's kick coming from that direction, right on the boundary line on the outer flank. He's coming in to take the kick now. It's kicked at goalward. There's not much enthusiasm there, and it'll be 1 point only. So that's a point to the Tigers. They're 6 behinds, and Essendon are 3-2.
Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
Geelong still by a point, 2-2-14. St Kilda 2-1-13.
Shane Healy.
Crows 3-3-21, Carlton 1-2-8, and not yet quarter time.
Ball about to be kicked back into play at 6 behinds to Richmond. Essendon 3-2, making more of their opportunities, and the ball kicked round the members' side of the ground up in the direction of Madden, and Madden came in. The ball bounced off his chest. Should have been a mark, but it is bad. The conditions are bad. Kickett picked it up, and Weightman absolutely stole it from him. Had a bing at him, and it's hit the behind post, so it'll be thrown back into play in the forward pocket. Amazing. That Kickett had it for a minute, and he just lifted the ball to attempt a hand pass, and Dolman whizzed it away and pinched it and went on with it. So it's out of bounds in the forward pocket for Richmond on the member side at the school end. The boundary umpire whipping it back into play. At the back was Gale, but I think it was Madden in the front that got it down. It's about 15 metres out from goal, Richmond's goal. Nobody able to control it up there. It's between goal and behind post now, and the umpires decide to come in and bounce. At 3.5 minutes into the second quarter, Essendon 3-2 lead the Tigers 6 behinds on the 3WCIG gas and gear scoreboard, and the field umpire throws the ball up. Right in the mouth of the Richmond goal, it's knocked down, a chance for Chris Daniher there, and it's pushed through for a point. Anyone could have pushed that through. I think it might have been Kickett, come to think of it, and it's 1 point. It's 7 behinds now to Richmond, and Essendon 3-2 on the 3WCIG gas and gear scoreboard.
Anthony Daniher's got it, wipes the mud onto his Guernsey, goes forward, goes back, playing 200 games, spiral punt kick, and it's a beauty. Look at it go out there outside 50, almost into the centre, knocked away there, but Goodwin picked it up. He's got it towards Smith. Smith, a big giraffe kick. That is a genuine giraffe down towards the forward line. Turner punched away by Terry Daniher and out of play. Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
Quarter time, Geelong lead by a point. They're 2-2-14, St Kilda 2-1-13.
Ball out of play. That is left half forward. Tigers going to the school end of the Windy Hill Oval this afternoon. A flat looking throw, but it went right in almost to centre half back. Came down to Naish. He had a bit of a go at it. Picked up by Buick, and it comes out and skimming into the mark literally is Smith of Richmond. Shane Healy at Princes Park.
Quarter time, Adelaide 3-3-21 deserved their lead. Carlton 1-2-8.
So Smith is on left half forward, standing outside 50. We'll call it 47 where he'll kick from. We'll call this one a 45-degree angle. The breeze coming across from his right, so he will probably really give this a good roost. And it is a goal. What a magnificent kick. Oh, no, it died on its trajectory. I might have been trying to blow that through, but ladies and gentlemen, it was Fanningham on its way, and it hit the post. Unbelievable. 3-2-20. Not the kick, that is. That's me. Rex Hunt. Richmond are 8 behinds, 8 points.
About to be kicked back into play by Anthony Daniher. He had a lead early from brother Chris. He ignored it. and comes up to the line, and he's put it on its way. It's about a 50-metre kick upfield, and Scott takes the mark unattended. Hugged it to his chest, as he should under the conditions. Scott now about 60 metres out from goal has put it on its way towards the forward pocket. Anthony Daniher will spoil and does so effectively, and it's out of bounds at 6.5 minutes into the second quarter. The score is 3-2 to 8 behinds on the 3RW scoreboard, 3RW CIG gas and gear scoreboard, and it's out of bounds in Richmond's forward pocket. The boundary umpire whistling it back into play, and it did whistle. It went too far for the ruckman. Knocked down. A chance there for Mitchell, who flung it out, got it out very quickly, and Powell kicked it upfield. A Young kicked it upfield, but it's gone through for one behind, I think. So that's another one to the Tigers. They've kicked 9 behinds. 9 behinds, 9 points. Essendon 3-2-20. 3RWCIG gas and gear scoreboard, and Anthony Daniher about to kick it back into play. At the 7-minute mark, and he kicked it to O'Donnell, who took the mark on the chest. He's ranging across the half-back territory, and now brings it around the member side of the ground. Up to centre wing, not quite that far. Wallace got a nudge under the ball. Knocked away by O'Donnell. Picked up very quickly, and hand passed out by Cloak. Goodwin in there trying desperately to get the ball, but the umpire's going to bounce on the half-forward line.
Sam Newman of Moorabbin.
Geelong 2-2-14, St Kilda 2-1-13.
At quarter time, thank you for that. And the ball in the air, knocked out by Madden, went down towards Mitchell of Richmond, picked it up, ran the wrong way, kicked it out towards Ryan, turned around, he did. Went up one-handed, couldn't take it. Good spoiling tactics by Stevens. Here comes Fox. Fox was Chris Daniher. Chris Daniher down the right half-forward flank. Here comes Tony Free. He's got it. An underground hand pass out towards Mitchell. Watch out, he picks it up. Good play by Goodwin. He's besieged over the top for Filandia. He's picked it off the ground towards Wanganeen. Wanganeen's in trouble there. Tries to get out of trouble. Over the top of the ball for Filandia, and throw that tarpaulin over those 15 players, and the umpire says, I'm going to throw this in the air. So quarter time sees Melbourne 6 points in front of Fitzroy as the ball goes in the air, knocked out by Salmon, backhanded by Underwood. The ball comes out towards the boundary line. In close attendance is Long. He's tackled, and the ball very close to the boundary line. In fact, as I speak, it might have gone. It's very, very close, and it's taken over now, and the umpire will throw it in. Geelong leads St Kilda by 1 point. Melbourne over Fitzroy by 6. Carlton trail Adelaide by 13. And North lead Brisbane by 8.
Out of bounds on the half-forward flank from Essendon on the member side of the ground, getting out towards centre wing. Salmon did it himself, grabbed it out of the rut and kicked it upfield up towards Watson, who couldn't quite control the ball. No fault of his, really. It was the slippery pig. Picked up by Mitchell, a hand pass out, intercepted by Salmon. He was tackled by Free. And a pretty good, solid bumping in the clinches here in the last 2 or 3 minutes. No harm done and no harm felt, actually. The boundary umpire has it now. It's still between centre wing and half-forward line for Essendon. Members side of the ground, and he whips it back into play. Ruckman battle there. Goodwin was looking for a free kick before it was thrown. Knocked out by Wallace, picked up by Smith of Richmond. He has kicked it around the members side of the ground, and it slithers over the line to be thrown back into play. There's a guy out here who looks so much like Inch, it's unbelievable. You couldn't believe it, really, and we keep on looking at it now and then. Shame, he'd probably say. It's out of bounds on the centre wing position on the members' side of the ground. 3-2 to 9 behinds, and back into play it comes. Cloak there, knocked away by Madden, kicked off the ground up towards the half-forward line, off the ground again by Nash, going up towards the school end, picked up beautifully by Ryan of Richmond, onto the left foot, hit Turner in the back. Turner recovers in time to kick it across towards the centre half-forward spot or better, but the umpires elected to bounce the ball. Between centre half forward and full forward for Richmond, who have yet to kick a goal at the 10-minute mark into the second quarter here. They're 9 behinds to Essendon 3-2. Ball thrown up at that position. Madden knocked it away quite skillfully down towards Mitchell, who overran the ball. Coming into the back as Buick, who kicked it off the ground. Did it again. Cloak was going to intercept and kick off the ground. Travel to meet it. Buick did it again. Up towards centre wing. Still travelling the member side of the ground. Slip and slide. Slide and slip. And it went out to Powell. Powell over the centre half forward spot. Kicked it long up towards the full forward berth. Everyone there, tapped away by Lambert. Bit of a chance if he can pick it up. He can't. Players on top of the ball from everywhere. Umpires decided to bounce in front of the goal at the school end. 11 minutes into the quarter, Essendon 3-2 to 9 behind.
So the umpire's got the footy. Got mud all over the backside of him, and he throws it in the air now. Sits nicely. Who went up? It was Big Gale, but it went straight to Chris Daniher. Kicked it out towards the half-back line. Here comes the player there in Ryan. He's picked it up on the left boot. A high ball back into the centre scoring area, right over the top. Nearly a good mark there to Barry Young. Play on, said the umpire. On hands and knees, Turner skips it out towards Nace. Nace hand passed it to Cloak. Cloak's run around, but he got it out towards his player there in Underwood. Underwood's had a bit of a kick. Scrambly play, fresh air shot by Kickett. It came out to Spawn. He was upended. Coming out there, Underwood does the old woof woof bird. Came out towards Turner. Turner's kicked it, Paula! What a good goal, son. That is a real goal and a half. Good on you. Look, it's a contender for the goal of the day, but clearly McMullen has the goal of the day, and I don't think that'll be beaten, but that is a contender for the Premier Holidays goal of the day. A ball terror. Essendon 3-2-20, Richmond 1-9-15, Ron Barassi.
Yes, we can't say Richmond haven't worked hard for that goal. That was the first out of 10 shots. A bit of luck. It needed some luck. Although most footballers know where the goals are, have an approximate idea. Was he snapped over his left shoulder, I'd say, about 15 metres in front. But the ball came to him and he took his chances.
Shown up in the air in the middle of the ground, picked up by Weightman. He lost it on the way through, so did Kickett. He was tripped, and Kickett will come up with a free kick. Kickett would have to be very close to best on the ground at the moment. He certainly had a lot of possessions. How many, Bondi?
Coming in for position number 10.
Right, he comes into the centre circle to kick it, and he held the kick, and I don't know why, but he's kicked up towards Wanganeen. He couldn't control it. Wallace came in to assist. It's round about the centre of the ground with players looking for the ball, and the umpire's paid a free kick for holding the ball. Wallace is the recipient of the free kick, coming in to take it now in the centre of the ground at the 12-minute mark of the quarter. He's kicked it to a lead by Buick, who picked it up beautifully there, spun away beautifully, hand pass back to Wallace. Wallace is having a birthday, kicks it up towards his full forward spot, knocked to the ground. It's got to be a free kick to Richmond. To Lee's up there, and he'll take it in the back pocket, defending at the members' end of the ground. He'll come out now, take his full measure of 15 metres, or the best part of it, kicked it towards the members' side of the ground. A chance for Hogg, knocked away from him. Essendon players in attendance there in numbers. McMullen picked it up. Kickett is shepherding for him. McMullen's have a birthday here as Chris Daniher shepherded. Kicked it up to Spawn, and Spawn marks in the forward pocket on the members' side of the ground. He would be approximately 35 metres out. The 50-metre line is just behind him, but a bit suspicious of it in this small ground. That is the distance, and Spawn is now about to take the kick. The angle 55 to 60 degrees, should kick the distance, kicking up towards the grandstand end of the ground, and he's kicked it on its way, and it's got through. It's the answering goal to that goal of Turner's, and that gives Essendon their fourth. They've kicked 4-2-26 and Richmond 1-9-15.
Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
The game started again, second quarter, Geelong by point, 2-2-14, St Kilda 2-1-13.
Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 7 points. They're 4-3-27. Fitzroy 2-8-20.
Is Shane Healy, Princes Park.
Adelaide by 19, playing well. 4-3-27, Carlton 1-2-8.
Johnny Murphy, VFL Park.
North Melbourne by 9 points, 6-4-40, Brisbane 5-1-31.
Umpire Shane Harris throws the ball in the air, knocked out by Madden, went down to Powell. Powell kicks it down. Where's Watson? He's there. Can't get a hand to it. Came out to Gale. Gale hand passed across to Nace. Nace on the left boot, but it fell into the arms of Fox. Fox will kick it outside 50. Here comes Long for Essendon on the cricket pitch practice area. Very slippery like a skating rink. Came out to Buick. Buick looks for Salmon. Salmon's given the hoist. Good mark in defence by Goodwin. Centre on the members' side, half-back flank. A short across to Smith, and Smith marks in front of Buick. So Smith of Richmond in front of the interchange area in the members' side of the ground. He's waving like a big traffic policeman. Kicks it down. Timmy Watson is up, but shepherding against Madden, and the free kick will go to Turner.
Turner's on the half-forward line on the members' side of the ground. He takes the traffic around that area. He had an early lead there from Ryan. Ignored it. He had to. Kicked on. It was Scott actually it led. Kicked up towards the forward pocket, and it's flipped over the line to be thrown back into play. In the forward pocket on the members' side at the school end. Just on 15 minutes played in the quarter. Essendon 26-15 in points on the board through WCIG gas and gear scoreboard, and the umpire about to propel it back into play. He does that. They mass there. It was Madden in the front, and a ball is whisked over the line to be thrown back into play again.
John Murphy at VFL Park, your score?
North Melbourne lead by 9 points, 6-4-40, Brisbane 5-1-31.
Spot on the 15-minute mark of the second quarter here with the bound round post some 25 metres around from the behind post on the members' side. Down at the school end, and it comes back into play again. Madden in the ruck, and he won it again. Went down, a chance for Underwood, and Underwood whipped it out to Powell, who was standing unattended. Powell has kicked it high. It'll land somewhere on the ridge of the goal base. Down on the ground it goes. A chance there for Nace. Nace whipped it out very quickly to Gale. Gale's kick impeded and knocked away eventually. Still on the ground. Kicked off the ground by Madden. A chance for Lambert, who hasn't had the best of luck. A hand pass out to Underwood. He had time to steady and kick long up towards the full forward spot. They kick it down there. A chance for a goal, or it's a goal to Richmond, and it might have been the Flea that kicked that. Galloping away from the goals there, and it's Essendon 4-2 to 2-9. Essendon 4-2 to 2-9. 3WCIG Gas and Gear scoreboard.
Let's go to Graeme Bond.
Yes, Weightman picking up the crumbs there, Golding with his 7th kick, and Craig Smith continuing on well. He finished off well last week. He's had 10 kicks and 5 marks so far today for the Tigers.
Ball back in the centre. Let's get a score from Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 7 points, 4-3-27 to Fitzroy, 2-8-20.
Umpire Garen Goldspink knocked out by Cloak over the top, the Flea. Weightman got one from Kickett, and Weightman will take this kick. Black as the ace of spades, kicks it backwards to Hogg, but he kicked it in fact to Filandia. Filandia picks it up, kicks it towards Salmon, punched away by Lees, kicked off the ground by Filandia. The ball spills to left half forward, more towards forward pocket. Here comes Bauer, cleaned up down there by Filandia, close to the boundary line. That's over, lucky to get away with that, but certainly trying to make the play was the Flea. He went back towards Hogg, who missed the flight of the ball, and they took it down to the left forward pocket in front of the Showers Pavilion. Ball back into play, knocked out by Cloak, went out to Filandia. He's tackled, kicked off the ground by Salmon. Went down to McMullen. Has he kicked another one? No. Behind, very close. The goal umpire had a look, and the football went behind. 4-3-27 Essendon. The breeze getting up again from the southwest, favouring the school end. Richmond 2-9-21. Here's Lees at fullback. That's CIG Gas and Gear scoreboard for you. Right over the top. What a very good mark to Goodwin, who's playing the game of his life.
Goodwin on the half-back flank on the outer side of the ground, takes it further over there to Mitchell. Mitchell marking, kneeling as if in prayer. Kicks it around the member side of the ground, the outer side of the ground. Intercepted by Buick, popping it onto the left foot, in towards the half-forward flank. Wallace overran the ball, allowing Richmond a chance to get away. They will through Goodwin, who's played pretty well, and his kick has slid over the line to be thrown in.
Let's go to Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
Geelong lead by 7 points, 3-2-20. St Kilda 2-1-13.
Out of bounds on the outer side of the ground, half-forward flank for Essendon, knocked away by Cloak, or paid Cloak the better of the two there. Went down to Underwood, who's had about 3 or 4 kicks this quarter. He's kicked at the centre wing, got knocked further afield by Smith, up towards a centre wing position, picked up there and very quickly by Johnson, driving it further afield. Cloak nearly had a mark, slipped off the fingertips of others too. Pickering out there now. They got the ball away, went out to Underwood. Underwood onto the right foot, putting it around the outer side of the ground. It's loose over there with Turner. Turner making the play. Went to ground as anyone would, slipping and sliding over there, and it's gone over the line out of bounds to be thrown in on the centre wing position on the outer side. 18 minutes into the quarter. 3WCIG Gas and Gear scoreboard. Essendon 4-3 to 2-9. That's virtually 3-3, so it was a goal, the difference favouring the Bombers. The ball spinning back into play now. In there was Madden swiping away. Cloak, I think, might have had a touch of it, just a touch. Madden kicked it off the ground. On the rebound, it came out quickly there to Buick. Buick kicked it upfield. Free's got it. Free had the run of the ball. Salmon was about to kick it off the ground. Withheld. Picked up quickly by Underwood, and Underwood's kick is further afield, and for some reason or other he's going to get a free kick. What it was for, I'm not too sure, but Underwood's got the free kick on the half-back flank on the outer side. Now taking his run. He's run about 6 or 8 metres. Kicked it up to the half-forward line, still going around that outer flank. It's dropped to the ground. A chance here for Richmond through Powell. Powell's played pretty well. Hand passing out there over to the outer flank, kicking it up towards lead up there by Gale and Turner, and it's gone over the line, or back over the line to be thrown back into play. Out on the half-forward flank for Richmond on the outer side of the ground at the school end. They are 2-9 to 4-3, 11 scoring shots to 7. Back into play it comes. Madden certainly got that down with a left-hand knock. Over towards the boundary line it goes, and it's out of play yet again at the 20-minute mark, 19-minute mark of the quarter. 6 points the difference, Essendon leading.
Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 9 points. They're 4-5-29. Fitzroy at 2-8-20.
Ball back into play. Turner might have got it. Kicked off the ground by Smith of Richmond. Buick going in for the ball. Play on, said the umpire. The ball came out to Buick again. Kicked it out towards the wing position. Here comes Somerville. Gave Cloak the flick. Cloak on hands and knees. Try to get it across to Hogg. Play on, said the umpire. The ball now over the boundary line and out of bounds. Shane Healy at Prince's Park.
Adelaide doing it well by 26 points, 5-4-34. Carlton 1-2-8.
Ball coming back into play. Knocked out by nobody. Cloak, if anything, went down towards Underwood. Underwood of Richmond picked it up. It spins in towards the forward line. Play on, said the umpire. Here's a chance for Gale. He's kicked a magnificent goal. Offside, check side, backside, anything. That was class from the big man. And Gale has got a goal for Richmond. Very, very good thinking, and scores a level. Richmond 3-9-27, Essendon 4-3-27. CIG Gas and Gear scoreboard. Here's Barassi.
Yes, well, Richmond are doing quite well with the win. I think the win has strengthened a bit, but that's taking a little bit away from Richmond's good play. They've attacked incessantly during this quarter. About 18 minutes gone so far. Great left foot kick off the ground.
20 minutes in, it's knocked down in the direction of Buick. He couldn't pick it up, and Richmond kick it off the ground through Goodwin. The risk of repetition, I repeat, he's playing well. Knocked over towards centre wing. Long went for the man, knocked the ball, finished up with a pill onto the left foot. He's kicked it up towards Filandia, who took a good mark in front of 3. On the centre wing position, on the members' side of the ground, the little fellow gets up, kicks it, intercepted by Mitchell, knocking or trying to knock towards the line. It's on the ground. Buick taps it a little bit further, picks it up, ran away well. Hand pass out in the direction of Wallace, whose kick hit the heel of the boot and knocked the toe over towards the boundary line and spills out. Out of bounds, 55 metres around from the goals at the members' end. It's on the members' side of the ground. 21.5 minutes gone in the quarter, and scores a level after that fine goal by Gale. Back into play per medium of the boundary umpire, and spinning, back it comes. In the front for Somerville, tapped it down. Lambert whisked it out. Watson intercepted, kicked it, tried to kick off the ground. Picked up very quickly there by McMullen. Up towards Kickett. I could hardly see him that time. Kicked off the ground by Buick. Over towards the boundary line. Kickett again, kicked it off the ground. It hit the chest of He's paid that out of bounds on the full. Well, I'll be a monkey's uncle. Probably I was in the first place anyhow. But if that was out of bounds on the full against Richmond, I'll walk backwards up the Burke Street Hill naked and in a stoop position. It's Kickett with the ball on the half-forward line on the members. That's what I can see of him on the members' side of the ground. Lambert standing the mark. I'm surprised there's not more noise and demonstration about that one, but they're all Essendon supporters. So Kickett with the ball, kicks it on its way now, up towards the full-forward spot, and they knock it through. No, it's kicked off. Hit the post in the long run of events, and that's a point. So Essendon 4-4 have a lead of 1 point over Richmond 3-9.
Yeah, unbelievable.
Reminds me of that credit card joke.
So Hogg kicks it out, finds Barry Young from St Arnaud. Well, he's at Essendon today, but he's from St Arnaud. Skims off the ground. That would have burned every worm in the area. The ball came down to Naish. Naish over the top looking for Smith. Half volley. Here comes Fox. He intercepted. Izard diving on the football. Picking it up beautifully is Spawn. Spawn runs around. He kicks a short kick in towards the centre of the ground. Coming out there is the big fellow in Somerville. He can't take it. But here comes Underwood playing well against his old side. A long bomb down towards Terry Daniher. Powell and passes to Weightman. And Weightman is kicked a behind. Richmond 3-10-28. Even Stevens, Essendon 4-4-28. 3RW CIG Gas and Gear scoreboard. Anthony Daniher kicks a short ball. He's found his player over there. That could be Johnson. It is. I got the nod from Bondi. And there's Somerville who marks.
Marking on the half-back flank on the outer side of the ground and defending in this particular instance, now attacking up towards the members' end of the ground. Knocked away. A tap over towards the centre of the ground. A chance for Mitchell, who picked it up well. Handed it out back and picked up by Underwood. Underwood kicking up towards centre half forward. They massed there. It's loose on the ground. Kicked off by Chris Daniher. Gathered in by Izard. He plonks it onto the left foot. Kicks it wide over towards the outer side of the ground. Buick is out there. He's had some touches. Buick centre wing, taking the traffic around the outer side of the ground. And a good piece of play there by the Tigers. Whipped the ball over the line to be thrown back into play. It's near enough to centre wing on that outer flank. And Essendon are taking it up towards the members' end of the ground. Scores a level on 28 points apiece. And the ball coming back into play again. Anyone's whacked that one. Nobody able to take it away. Picked up quickly by Izard. The kick smothered. Still on the ground on centre wing. And a nice little flick out there. Gets the ball to Smith. Smith kicks it long. That's a beautiful kick up towards the full forward spot. They knock it down. A chance there for Gale. Daniher on top, but that was Anthony Daniher. Eventually knocked over towards the boundary line. Nobody able to take it away there. And the umpire sees it roll over the line. It'll come back into play with the boundary umpire doing the honours. Around 20 metres out from the behind post, outer side, school end. Back into play it comes. In there is Madden. Madden certainly won it. Got it down to Anthony Daniher. His kick travel about 12 or 14 metres. Picked up by Buick. Looking pretty muddy now. Buick kicks it around the outer side of the ground, and the mark over there taken on the half-back flank on the outer side by Spawn. Spawn now on the half-back flank on the outer side of the ground, taking the traffic around that side up towards centre wing. They mass there, knocked away, coming out in the direction of Underwood, who's having a birthday at the moment. Out it goes, picked up to centre wing position and kicking it long up towards centre half forward where Chris Daniher had the mark, lost it, play on as a call. Daniher thought he'd given a free kick away, so did I. It's up the centre half forward spot for Richmond. They're battling the guts out there. Powell picked it up out in the direction of Lambert. Lambert lost the run of it, got it out quickly to Bower. Bower's kick hits Turner on the chest, 45 metres out. He's had a ping at him. There's a chance. It's a goal to Turner. That also may be a contender for the Prima Holiday goal of the day, although I doubt it. But it was a good goal anyhow. He's second, and the Tigers have hit the front by a goal, 4-10-34. The Bombers 4-4-28.
OK, let's go around the ground. Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
Scores are level. Geelong and St Kilda are 3 goals to 20 each.
Gary Brice, MCG.
23-minute mark. Melbourne lead by 11 points. 4-7-31 to Fitzroy, 2-8-20.
Michael Schulberger at Princess. 15 minutes second quarter, 5-4-34. Adelaide, Carlton 1-5-11.
John Murphy, VFL Park.
North Melbourne lead by 28 points, 9-6-60. Brisbane 5-2-32.
Knocked out by Madden, straight to Buick. Here come Essendon inside 50. Salmon tried to mark. Good pressure there from Lees. The umpire hugs himself. In these conditions, I thought a little bit unlucky, Ron Barassi.
I'm not seeing it hit his chest. I don't think he should have dropped that.
Thank you very much. Here's the umpire. He's got it. Throws it up. Seagull flies away. Knocked out by Salmon. Fresh air shot there by Lees. The ball comes out towards a little boy in Filandia. Hand up, says Buick. He might want to go at half-time, but picked out by Nace, but straight to Timmy Watson. Dropped it like a hot cake. Over the top towards Wallace. Kicked off the ground by the big fellow in cloak. Came out to Fox. Edward runs around. He's kicked the check side. It spills inside 50. Madden has marked, but pushing the back because Lees came out like a human cannonball.
He's got the free kick in the back pocket on the member side of the ground. It's a minute into time on, so there's very little left as Lees heads away across to the outer. He better kick it in a minute. He did, and he's kicked it wide over there looking for Bower and found him. Bower marking on the half-back flank on the outer side. Transfers play further afield over there to Pickering, taking it under control. Was it Gale? Ryan in the long run of events, and Ryan's kicked it up towards the forward pocket where it trickles over the line to be thrown back into play.
Let's go to John Murphy, VFL Park.
North Melbourne lead by 28 points, 9-6-60. Longmire 4 goals to Brisbane 5-2-32.
Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
Geelong by a goal, 4-2-26, and Kilda 3-2-20.
Ball back into play out there on that half-forward flank for Richmond on the outer side of the ground. Another goal before half-time would be good, but they've knocked it away. It's going to and fro up towards Underwood, who pushed it out through the pack. Nobody able to control it there. It's still on the half-forward line on the outer side of the ground. They've worked it up towards the half-forward flank or further afield. A chance there for Turner. Kicked off the ground by Weightman, flying through on the rebound. It's going to come out in the direction of Powell. If he can poise, get poised. Knocked away. He's tackled by Terry Daniher. Down on the ground at centre half-forward. Picked up again. This is Scott. But there's going to be a free kick to Richmond for throwing the ball against Essendon, and Lambert, I think, may be the recipient of the free kick. He's had a little, he hasn't been quite lucky, Lambert. He's managed to get to the ball, but his ball handling hasn't been as sure as other days, and however, he's got a chance to, at 27 minutes into the quarter, so there's no time left in this second quarter, so he has the chance of putting the Tigers ahead by 2 goals should he kick accurately, and of course the distance. He's put it on its way, and it's a good kick. It's a good goal to Lambert. That was a lovely kick, and Richmond can be well satisfied with their endeavours in this quarter. They've gone under 5-10-40, leading Essendon 4-4-28.
We'll get to Ron at half-time. I'll put the question to you, Ron. Have Richmond been unlucky not to be further ahead because they kicked, I think, 9 behinds? They have now kicked 5 goals, 1. Let's go Sam Newman, Moorabbin.
Geelong by 2 goals, 5-2-32, St Kilda 3-2-20.
Gary Brice, MCG.
It's Melbourne by 11 points. They're 5-7-37. Fitzroy 3-8-26.
A little bit of a skirmish at centre half-back. We'll monitor that. Meantime, the ball came out of the centre to the limping Ryan across the other side. It doesn't make him. Punched away by Turner. Off the top of the pack. Lambert over the top. Went to Nash. A very quick kick, and it's marked by Barry Young. Barry Young spins around. He's got a player over there. It's the limping Ryan. Ryan's marked. He's run 30 metres and he's kicked it behind. Oh, the injury stopped that boy from Birchip. He shouldn't be on the ground. And the interchange is warming up anyhow, so it went behind. Essendon 4-4-28, Richmond 5-11-41, CIG Gas and Gear scoreboard.
Anthony Daniher about to kick it back into play. He chooses a member side of the ground to take the traffic up towards his team's half-forward line. Madden didn't attempt to mark, tried to swipe it back towards the centre half-back position and failed.
Gary Brice, MCG. Back to Gary shortly. Shane Healy, Princes Park.
Back with the boundary umpire here on the members' side of the ground. It's 5-11 to 4-4. Richmond leading. Back of the play it comes at 28 minutes into the quarter, and that's it. End of quarter. End of first half. 16 scoring shots to Richmond, which have yielded 5-11-41 and Essendon 4-4-28. 3WCIG Gas and Gear scoreboard.
In that quarter, Richmond kicked 5 goals 6 to the end where the grammar school is. Essendon kicked 1 goal 2 to the Napier or Showers Pavilion end of the Oval here this afternoon. So Richmond 5-11-41 lead Essendon 4-4-28. For Richmond, Turner kicked 2, 1 Weightman, Gale and Lambert. For Essendon, Madden, Filandia, McMullen and Spawn have kicked their goals. Let's go to Gary Brice at the MCG.
Melbourne lead by 11 points. They're 5-7-37. Fitzroy 3-8-26.
OK, Shane, sorry about the last cross at Princes Park.
Adelaide out to a 29-point lead, Rex, and they're playing very well. 6-4-40. Carlton still 1-5-11.
It would appear with the lack of goals at Princes Park that Carlton might let this one slip very early.
Yeah, they certainly just don't seem to have a forward who can even get a grab at the moment. Their kicks are only travelling 20 metres. Adelaide, when they use the ball, using it much better.
Should see one of the Black Bombers here. How'd you like to meet that bloke in a dark lane, Ron? Have a look at that. It'd take 4 blokes for us to give him a shave. Let's go to Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
Geelong lead by 2 goals, 5-2-32. St Kilda 3-2-20.
Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 12 points. 5-8-38. Fitzroy 3-8-26.
Mate, he's as mean as anything. Dinosaur droppings. Let's leave it at that. This is 3RW Football.
The others try, but no one beats Dan Murphy on range or price. Dan Murphy has 6,000 liquor lines on special every day of the week, like Wynn's Hermitage at only $5.94, Highland Queen Whiskey at only $18.70, and Seaview Cabernet Shiraz just $3.94. The biggest range, the best price. That's the Dan Murphy promise. Dan Murphy Cellars, 789 Heidelberg Road, Alphington, and 282 Chapel Street, Parade.
When you want the best power tool, come into BBC Hardware and check out the Makita range of power tools. See the Makita dustless belt sander with smooth carbon plate to increase belt life. The Makita grinder features a palm-sized grip for exceptionally easy grinding. And there's the Makita cordless drill with plug-in wall charger. For savings on all Makita power tools, trust BBC Hardware to show you the way.
Plumbers, fabricators, ritchies, welders, boilermakers, panel bleeders, builders, we've got all we need right here. CIG, gas and gear, gas and gear. Have no fear, they've got it here. CIG, gas and gear.
If you're not sure what regulator setting should be used for cutting and welding, ask the boys at CIG Gas and Gear. After all, they're the experts.
CIG, gas and gear.
Look for your nearest gas and gear centre under Commonwealth Industrial Gases in the white pages.
Want to phone up a takeaway for dinner?
No, I think we'll stay home and have a garlic clover lemon sprinkled with soy flour and wheat germ all in a butter and watercress sauce.
What?
Well, I think we're not getting adequate vitamin intakes in our diets, so I'm trying to choose something from every food group.
I know what we can have. Synovus multivitamin and mineral tablets.
It's easy to care for your health and budget with Synovus vitamins.
Synovus vitamins. They sound good.
Yeah. Now, what sounds good for dinner?
Synovus vitamins, available from supermarkets and selected pharmacies.
Hello there, this is Bruce Mansfield.
And I am Philip Brady.
Why don't you join us for Nightline every Monday to Thursday night between 8 and midnight on 1278 3AW.
You'll laugh, you'll cry. There's something for everyone on Nightline.
But now back to Rex Hunt and Bill Jacobs.
You'll laugh and you cry, all right, if that bloke gets hold of me, I bet you. OK, Essendon trail Richmond by 13 points at half-time. For Richmond, Turner's booted 2, Weightman, Gale and Lambert 1 each. For Essendon, goals to Madden, Filandia, McMullen and Spawn. Let's go Sam Newman, Moorabbin.
Geelong lead by 3 goals. There's 6-2-38 to St Kilda, 3-3-21, 25 minutes gone.
Gary Brice, MCG.
Half-time here, 11-point lead to Melbourne, who are 5-8-38, leading Fitzroy 3-9-27.
Thank you very much. Shane Healy at Princes Park.
Carlton's finally kicked its second goal of the day from what I consider to be a very, very lucky free kick right in front. 2-5-17 now. Adelaide 6-4-40, just going into time on, Rex, in the second quarter.
John Murphy at VFL Park.
Half-time and North Melbourne lead by 34 points, 10-6-66 to Brisbane, 5-2-32.
Yes, thank you for that. Our half-time margin is Richmond leading by 13 points and playing well. And Bill has selected some of the better players for Essendon and Richmond.
For Richmond, Weightman, Underwood, particularly in that quarter, Smith, Powell, Goodwin, Bauer, Turner, Ryan and Mitchell. For Essendon, Kickett, Buick, Chris Daniher, Spawn, Wallace, Madden and Anthony Daniher.
Here's Graeme Bond with some of the stats.
It was a great quarter for the Tigers, the second. They had 81 possessions to Essendon's 47. They had 60 kicks, the Tigers. Underwood had 10, Smith had 6, Goodwin 5 and Naish had 6.
They mean business. The ball came out to Goodwin. He was cleaned up. Play on, said the umpire. Goodwin holds his head, now goes in and tries to split up the pack. Knights on the ground overrunning the ball. A scrimmage of players. And the umpire will come in and throw the ball in the air. Centre half forward for Essendon, going down to the school end of the Windy Hill Oval this afternoon. There's the umpire. Throws it in the air. 25 players will go for this. Came out from Salmon to Spawn. Spawn kicked it off. Went down towards Mitchell. Ran around. Pumped the hand pass out to Bauer. Bauer's in trouble. Tackled by Wallace. Picked up by Filandia. Behind Essendon 4-5-29, Richmond 5-11-41 within the first 40 seconds of the third term. And this is 3RW football. Hogg at full back. He kicks the ball just outside 50. Goodwin from behind. Taps it, but he missed it. Smith versus O'Donnell. O'Donnell's got it. The ball was kicked off the ground and over the boundary line, but no offence. So let's call it near enough centre wing. If anything, more towards half forward for Essendon. Members side. Ball back into the stadium. Salmon goes up. Taps it to O'Donnell. O'Donnell tapped it towards Fox, but it came to Knights of Richmond. Skimmed it along, kicked off the ground by Smith. Spills out right half forward Essendon for Richmond, going to the Showers Pavilion end. And the football goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. Geelong leads St Kilda by 29 points. That is at half-time. Melbourne lead Fitzroy by 11. Adelaide lead Carlton by 18. Ball back into the arena, knocked out by Salmon, straight to McMullen. Fallet over T, skipped the ball out. Will it go out on the full? No. It bounces through the interchange area. And North Melbourne lead Brisbane Bears by 34 points.
About to be thrown back into play on the centre wing on the members' side of the ground. The scoreboard is 5-11-4-5, Richmond leading. 3RW Makita BBC scoreboard with the boundary umpire now propelling it back into play. Salmon and Cloak wrestled. Salmon certainly won it. Went down. Weightman was in the better position. Kicked it off the ground and the mark has been paid there to Izzard. On the half-back flank, the traffic coming around that area from the members' end of the ground. Izzard indicating that he'll kick long. He has. It's going to be held up a little bit. Salmon making the front position has taken the mark. Hand passes to Watson. Watson hasn't done a great deal from the centre of the ground. He's kicked it up towards the forward line. Knocked away by Hogg. Over towards the half-back flank. A chance there for Wanganeen, to Filandia in there, but he couldn't get it out of the pack. It eventually came out and fiddled its way out to Kickett. Kickett's got it now at centre half forward and boots it long up towards the full forward spot. A chance there for Richmond, kicked off the ground by Knights coming upfield, and they race it away with the captain, Weightman, booting it up towards Cloak on the members' side of the ground. Splash of water there, some more too. Couldn't kick it off the ground. Buick picked it up as Salmon kept Cloak out of the way. Cloak very frustrated. Buick kicks it upfield, and sitting back there to take the mark in the forward pocket is the big fellow in Madden. In the forward pocket on the members' side of the ground, Spawn I should say, on the members' side of the ground on the 50-metre line now, about to kick it upfield, up towards the goals at the school end of the ground, and Essendon need a goal. Well, two, because they're two behind at the present moment, and they have what we believe the advantage of a breeze going towards the school end of the ground. Spawn now crossing the 50-metre line, coming to take his kick, and he's put on its way. It was flat, very flat. And Carr coming to take a good mark there is the little fellow in Filandia, and he took the mark in front of his opponent. The ball dropped short, and he made the position well. And getting some guidance and assistance here by Watson, who's cleaning the ball and drying the ball out a little bit for the little fellow. And Filandia will kick from an acute angle. He's 3 metres in from the boundary line, kicking up towards the school end. 5-11 Richmond, 4-5 Essendon. Filandia lining them up at the 5-minute mark of the third quarter. They won't want to waste any time this quarter, the Bombers. Filandia coming in now, trotting in. He kicked a goal earlier. He's put this one on its way, and that looks all right from here. A goal to the little bloke Filandia. That's his second. And Essendon on to 5-5, trail Richmond 5-11.
Let's go to Gary Brice at the MCG.
Game's just started. Still 11-point lead to Melbourne. In the third quarter, 5-8-38 to Fitzroy, 3-9-27.
Here is from Barassi.
Well, Essendon certainly starting off this quarter with a lot more purpose. It's evident in their play. They've also opened up without Watson on the full forward line. They're not finessing. They're putting him straight on the ball. He's been more in the play than he was almost for the first half.
Ball is in the air, thumped by Salmon. It went 40 metres, left half forward. Underwood versus Watson. They crash. Play on, says the umpire. Overrunning the ball was Fox, but he kicked it a spiral punt. Kick it. Punched away by Bauer. Here comes Buick. Threaded his way through. Mitchell intercepted the football. Stacks on the mill. Here comes Filandia. Hand pass to Buick. Beautiful smother by Hogg. The ball came out to Fox. Fox hand pass to Spawn running through. Spawn's kicked it over on the full. And Knights will take the resultant free kick in front of the scoreboard. That is right back flank members side. Kicks at 40 metres down to Cloak. Cloak versus Salmon, punched away by the latter. Picked up by Smith on hands and knees. Kicked the worm burner out to Powell. Powell threaded his way through, then went back to Cloak, who couldn't make the effort. Well, he made the effort, David, but he couldn't make the distance. Just those aging arms couldn't touch the football before it went out of play. Ball back in. They link arms. That's Salmon and Cloak. Went down towards O'Donnell. O'Donnell kicked it to half forward. Here comes Wallace. Skimming over the top of the ball is Hogg. Kicked off the ground into the arms of Smith, who's been brilliant. Kicks it inside 50. Here comes Scott, who's been interfered with by Daniher. Advantage played. Powell over the top. Gale, can he get it? No, he can't get it, ladies and gentlemen. Oh, no. Comedy of errors, and Gale just couldn't grab it. And the football went behind. 5-12-42 Tigers. Essendon 5-5-35. I'm not enjoying this game.
Anthony Daniher about to kick the ball back into play. Crowd agog with the surprise of it all. Daniher kicks it straight down towards the centre of the ground. It was a lovely kick. Down to the ground it went to Lambert. Lambert hand passed out quickly. Back to Young. And Young's kicked it upfield where the mark is taken by Long. Long spasmodic in his appearances today. He's kicked it over towards the member side of the ground. So too to the man that just dropped that, Terry Daniher. But he picked it up, recovered, kicked it back towards centre wing position, where casually raking in Marcus Smith. Centre wing on the member side of the ground. Richmond dictating the terms of the play, apart from that goal, of course. Richmond now kicking it long in towards the half-forward line. They struggle for possession there. Down towards the feet of Anthony Daniher. The umpire quickly on the scene will bounce the ball or throw it up. And one or two players, Lambert in particular, not very impressed with something or other that happened up there. And Johnson also showing his displeasure of whatever did take place. Johnson wanting to go on with it. He'll be told to get on with it by his captain shortly if he doesn't get out of there. And the umpire throwing the ball up. On the half-forward flank for Richmond, knocked away by Salmon, down to Anthony Daniher. Got his kick in the nick of time, went to about 2 metres, out to Izzard. Good blocking there by Salmon, but it came out in the direction of Daniher. Anthony Daniher kicked off the ground, still on the half-forward line for Richmond. A chance there for them. Came out in the direction of Smith, who backpedaled out of that and nearly got away with it. Went to Chris Daniher. A hand pass out. We'll find O'Donnell. O'Donnell buffeted as he kicked the ball, and Cloak came in with a very determined look on his face to take the mark. Cloak on centre wing on the member side of the ground, going crook about something. A bit of muck on the pluck there as Clokey, and he's on centre wing on the member side. Dropped it in short, and Hogg will take the mark there, getting it towards the half-forward flank. Goodwin on the half-forward flank on the member side of the ground. Up towards the half-forward line it goes, but Essendon strong in defence there, and Salmon already playing a good quarter at 8 minutes in. Salmon now driving the ball across, over to the outer side of the ground. Over there we've got Bauer, and Bauer read the run of the ball pretty, bounced nicely and kindly for him. Onto his left foot he goes, kicks it upfield, and Salmon has taken the mark between goal and behind post. And the umpires awarded the mark, allowed him to take the mark, and he'll kick from between goal and behind post. The man on the mark coming back, and Salmon drives it to the outer side of the ground.
With a very good kick too. Outside 50, Cloak, chest mark, hand passes across to Powell. Powell in turn hand passing to Smith. Magnificent tackle on Smith. And the free kick is going to be taken by Chris Daniher. He's at centre half back at the Napier Street end of the ground, looking for somewhere to go. He's got kick it over the top of that player's head into the arms of Johnson. Johnson left back flank, members side, travelling the football to the school or scoreboard end of the arena here this afternoon. A low trajectory kick, dies on its flight. Went towards Knight, kicked it back from where it came, and Johnson and Chris Daniher muck each other up. Play on, says the umpire. Salmon hands and knees, scooped it out. Here comes Powell. Powell, magnificent play. He's lined it up and he's kicked a magnificent goal. No, it hit the post. Don't tell me again. That died on its trajectory again. My optical city eyeglasses are 105% accurate, but I'm not. That just died on its trajectory. Another poster. Richmond 5:13.43, Essendon 5:5.35, Makita, BBC scoreboard.
Anthony Daniher boots it back into play again over towards the member side of the ground. Goodwin in there, knocked away from him, down towards Johnson, picked up by Knights eventually. Knights onto the left foot has driven it up towards the forward line. Weightman got himself in front of Anthony Daniher there. The ball is on the ground. Weightman on top of Anthony Daniher, and the umpire's decided the wisest thing he can do is bounce the ball in the forward pocket on the member's side. At the members' end of the ground, it's 5:13 to 5-5. Richmond leading on the 3W Makita BBC scoreboard, and the umpire waiting to get the ball back before he bounces in the forward pocket for Richmond, still on the members' side naturally because no player's taken place since he gave his decision. Now he's about to bounce it on the members' side of the ground in Richmond's forward pocket. Up it goes, they wrestle there, knocked away out towards the further up to the forward pocket. Buick didn't take any chances. He kicked it off the ground and the ball eventually spins over towards the boundary line. It's still in play where Buick did it beautifully to follow up and get it under control. Got his kick before being tackled there by Goodwin. In towards the muddy centre it goes. Filandia was bumped into the mud, picked up by Free, and Filandia is going to get a free kick for a push in the back. In the back against Tony Free there, and Filandia comes up with a ball in the muddy centre, running through it now. He's got his foothold all right. He's kicked up towards centre half forward and found Long. By accident more than design, I think, and Long has kicked in towards the forward pocket. Over there is Watson. He overran the ball. He'd probably give it a kick, and he did. Kickett's in the forward pocket. The kick is smothered. Watson threw it out to Kickett, literally. Kickett spins round beautifully. Quick hands, they call it. Up towards the full forward area, knocked away by the Richmond defence. Lees in particular went out towards Mitchell. He couldn't get the run of it. Eventually, didn't he? Hand pass back out to Free. Free kicks wide to the outer side of the ground, but the mark is taken by Izzard. Centre wing at the 11-minute mark of the quarter. He gets it back into Salmon. Salmon marks between the centre and centre half forward. It's 12 minutes into the quarter and the Tigers are still down by 8 points. Salmon has directed his kick upfield up towards the full forward area. Richmond defence combined to whack it out there into the forward pocket. Nobody can kick it off the ground. Eventually it is by Goodwin up there in the last line of defence, kicking back towards the centre, gathered in by Edard. Good smother, allows Knights to come in. He was on his way, but Lambert had to back up and pick it up. Kicks it around towards the half forward flank on the outer side of the ground. Kicked off the ground again in turn, and Richmond are going further afield with Turner soccering off the ground up beyond their half forward line. It's loose again, tapped out to Izzard. Izzard will kick long.
To the wing position, outer side. No one at home, your worship. Cloak has all the time. Have a cup of tea. Buick giving him the flick. Cloak skew with kick to half forward. A over T goes Lambert. The hand pass came out from Anthony Daniher to Johnson to Izzard. Here come Essendon to centre half forward. Up there Filandia. Off the top of the pack. Goodwin has cleaned up. The ball came out to Knights of Richmond. Hand pass in the centre of the ground to Smith, who's been magnificent. Here comes the lead. Weightman turn around Powell and marked in front of Chris Daniher. So Powell, he's at right half forward flank, kicking into the breeze at the Napier Street end. We've gone 14 minutes into this third term. Here comes the lead from Gale. Gale is up through his hands, kicked off the ground by Scott, and the football hits the behind post. Sam Newman at Moorabbin, your score.
Geelong by 28 points, 8-2-50. St Kilda 3-4-22.
Ball back into play, right forward pocket for Richmond, knocked out there by the big fellow in Somerville. Came out to Izzard. Here comes Scott, pinched by Weightman. Fairtingham pinched the kicker through the holiday goal of the day. What a beauty! Oh, gee, that was magnificent play by Weightman to go for two, and Richmond go further ahead. They're 6:13.49. Essendon 5:35. Makita BBC scoreboard. And in my terms, that was a ball terror, Ron.
Well, it's Weightman's second goal. The only Richmond player to score more than one. It was a complete reflex snaffle. He just intercepted that ball and just calmly turned on his left foot and popped it through. A mark of a champion.
14 minutes into the quarter, the umpire throws it up in the middle of the ground. The ball, that is, knocked away by Salmon, doing well in the ruck. Attempted kick off the ground by Buick, misfired. It found its way out to Knights. Knights hand pass to Cloak, relishing the heavy conditions. Kicks it up to centre half forward. Chris Daniher in the way. Attempted a hand pass, knocked away by Lambert, and a hand pass to Weightman. Weightman running into goal. Should have done better than that. He's kicked it over towards the boundary line. Picked up over there by Scott, and Scott's kick has hit the post. Weightman, it was a shocking kick, didn't have time to describe it, but he was about 30 metres out, would have just lapped it up, but something went awry there. Anyhow, Richmond have finished up with a point to take them on to 6-14 to 5-5. Now the ball about to be kicked back into play, and it's booted back over towards the outer side of the ground. Over there will be Salmon, and Salmon's taken the mark, and hand passes quickly further afield, and the Bombers go around the outer side of the ground up towards the half-forward line. Overrunning the ball was Bauer, allows Kickett to come in. Bauer fought back well, knocked it away, down on the ground. It is still over there on the half-forward flank of the outer side of the ground, and it's eventually pushed over the line to be thrown back into play. On the half-forward flank for Essendon, outer side, as they go up to the school end, they're trailing 5-5 to 6-14. In other words, 35 to 50 in favour of the Tigers. The ball coming back into play now, spinning back. It gets a little bit darker. Good punch out by Salmon up towards Kickett. He flicked it out and he threw it out, and the umpire saw it. And the free kick will go to Bauer of Richmond. Bauer's played a reasonable game, a steady game over there on that half-back flank on the outer side. He's driven it 35 to 40 metres upfield over towards Nash, and Nash slid into the mark on the centre wing position on the outer side of the ground. Nash, who had, as Bondi told us, 7 kicks or possessions in that second quarter, has kicked it over towards the centre half-forward spot, away from Weightman. Weightman knocked it across to Lambert. Lambert kicked it off the ground, but it was intercepted. Eventually came out to Salmon. Salmon, playing like a little man, has kicked it upfield, and Cloak takes another mark in this third quarter, this time on the centre wing with the traffic over there on that outer side of the ground. Cloak hand passes to Free. Free kicks it flat up towards centre half-forward, and Weightman's in there to take the mark. The touch play on was the call from the umpire. Weightman probably knew it too. It was touched by Fox, probably, or McMullen, and the ball will be bounced at centre half forward for Richmond, kicking up towards the members' end of the ground.
There it goes, in the air. Right over the top comes Turner. Might have infringed. The umpire thought not. Scooping it out was Powell. Went to Salmon. Salmon kicked it, marked by Knights. Here comes Gale. Terry Daniher backs his judgment and does it beautifully. Kicks it in where Spawn marks centre of the ground. Hand passing to O'Donnell. O'Donnell looking for Madden. One hand, not good enough. Wet conditions. Someone copped one. It was Free. Copped one high, and he's got the kick. Gary Brice, MCG, your score.
A 21-point lead to Melbourne. They're 6-12-48. Fitzroy a 3-9-27.
Free kicks it, marked by Powell. Powell has got Underwood, and Underwood ran into Johnson, and Underwood has taken the mark. Very good play. Shane Healy, Princes Park.
Adelaide by 5 points, 6-5-41. Carlton 5-6-36.
John Murphy, VFL Park.
North Melbourne 10 and 6-66. Brisbane 7-4-46.
Sam Newman, Moorabbin.
Geelong by 9 points, 8-2-50. St Kilda 6-6-41.
Geelong will win. We've heard that from Sam, so we won't bother going back there. Here's Underwood, and standing the mark there on the 50-metre line. That is Fox. So we're going to see Underwood put a spiral punt into a boot. Comes down. Oh, good mark down there. That might be Morris. No, it's not Morris because he's off the ground. We'll call him McMullen, and it is.
And he's going to kick from the full forward or full back area insofar as Essendon are concerned. He's driven the ball as far as he can. That's up towards a half-back line. The mark pushing it back against Goodwin, and the free kick will go to Essendon on their half-back line on the members' side of the ground. 6-14 to 5-5. Fox coming up with a free kick across that half-back line, driving it across towards the centre of the ground. His target was Izard, who didn't seem to want it particularly. Kicked away by Tony Free. It ricochets out towards centre wing. It's going to be picked up over there or taken away over there by the little fella out there is Izard, up towards the half-forward line and kicked off the ground by Madden, but in turn Smith kicks it off the ground from Richmond. Over there is Kickett, alone and unattended. A hand pass designed for Izard is short. A chance for Essendon there at the centre half-forward spot. They can't do much about it until Johnson runs up the ground, takes the hand pass, kicks in towards centre half-forward. Off the pack it goes, and Lees comes away with the ball, taking the traffic around that outer side of the ground, looking for over there. He hopes for Nash. It's ricocheted back. It's still on Essendon's half-forward line, picked up by Long. It was kicking towards the full forward area, but the marker's taken the defence up there for the Tigers, and they go around the members' side of the ground up towards the underneath the scoreboard, and it's dribbled over the line out of bounds to be thrown back into play.
Let's go back to you, please, Sam Newman.
Yes, Geelong lead by 9 points. St Kilda kicked 3 quick goals, 8-2-50. St Kilda 6-6-41.
Back into play here, and it's booted around the ground by Smith, knocked away, knocked over the line again by Goodwin. It's out of play.
Gary Brice, MCG. Try and
Melbourne by 21 points, 6-12-48 to Fitzroy 3-9-27.
A very quick one, Shane.
Adelaide by a goal, 6-6 to 5-6.
He couldn't get any quicker than that. 9-9, the galloping gasometer. 9-9, down it goes to O'Donnell on the half-forward flank for Essendon on the members' side of the ground. It's ricocheted out. It's going to be picked up there by Bauer. Knocked away by O'Donnell, who had time to kick the ball. And it's going over towards the boundary line. It'll slip over and be thrown back into play.
Johnny Murphy, so we can understand you. Score, please.
North Melbourne 10-7-67, Brisbane 7-4-46.
19 minutes into the third quarter here. It's 6-14 to 5-5 with Essendon trailing on the 3W Makita BBC scoreboard. The ball coming back into play. Fox was high, Madden was high, knocked it down, kicked off the ground by Wallace, or attempt to. He's looking for holding the ball now there, and he's got it. Well. I will be blowed. 6-14 to 5-5. It's a free kick to Essendon, and obviously they have to go to Wallace. He's making more appeals there than Jeff Crouch does for the hospitals, and he's got the free kick. 6-14 to 5-5, 20 minutes in. They say fortune favours the brave, but I doubt if you can apply that to this particular incident. And Wallace is going to get the kick from plumb in front, 15 metres out at the school end of the ground. And he's put it on its way, and he's kicked a goal, and we'll say no more. Essendon 6-14, Essendon go on to 6-5, 41, trailing Richmond 6-14-50.
From the top, Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
Geelong a 9-2-56, 15-point leaders over St Kilda 6-6-41.
Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 21 points. They're 6-12-48. Fitzroy 3-9-27.
Shane Healy at Princes Park.
Well, Adelaide are 6-6-42, just a goal in front now of Carlton, 5-6-36, the Blues having a shot.
John Murphy at VFL Park.
North Melbourne lead by 15 points, 10-7-67, the Brisbane 8-4-52.
Essendon within 9 points, coming up to 20 metres, 20 minutes in the third term, knocked out by Salmon, straight to Izzard. Here come Bombers again. Play on, said the umpire, but he's picked out a free kick. It's going to go to Wallace, who was pushed in the small of the back by Hogg. Hogg can't believe it, puts his arm up, points to the mark, but Wallace, who kicked that other goal just 40 seconds ago, has got a chance to put it. He throws grass into the air and then kicks it short to Salmon because no one had picked him up. Sold the dummy, the oldest trick in the book, and Salmon now, the big fish, has got it and stands 54 3/4 metres and will kick it from the 50-metre line with the breeze at his ample back, showing number 3 for Essendon. Skip, double skip, run, put the ball on its way, and it goes off the side of his boot into the teeth of goal. Hogg now punches the football and it hits the post. Essendon 6-6-42, Richmond 6-14-50. That is the 3W Makita BBC scoreboard. Let's go back to Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
It's St Kilda trailing by 8 points. There's 7-6-48, Geelong 9-2-56.
Hogg kicked it out to Smith, who punched it looking for Powell, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds.
That's 22 minutes into the quarter, and the boundary umpire about to throw it back into play between centre wing, half-forward flank for Essendon, members side, coming back into play. Cloak got the better of it, went to Powell. Powell was grabbed on the way through, lost it. Buick tried to kick it off the ground, couldn't. Weightman picked it up. He's trying to burrow his way through. Got it out to Smith. Smith had it, lost it, gone to the ground, and picked up by Lambert. Centre wing position. He does a double take there, and onto the left foot he goes to kick up towards the half-forward line. High was Turner, off his hands it went, out in the direction of Mitchell after McMullen overran the ball. Mitchell kicks it off the ground up towards the half-forward flank or forward pocket area on the member side. Watson comes in to retrieve it. Hand passes out to Somerville. Somerville accepts in front of the goals and kicks it wide out to the outer side of the ground. There's nobody out there except Weightman now making position. Picks it up. He'll have plenty of time to get around instead. He did anyhow, and then eventually he's kicked it towards the forward pocket. Down to the ground it goes after Somerville dropped what should have been a mark. Down on the ground it goes again, and the umpire's going to come in and bounce. About 35 to 40 metres out from the Richmond goal at the members' end of the ground. The Tigers are 6-14, leading Essendon 6-6. The ball about to be thrown in the air. Up it goes now. Ruckman come in to do battle, went down to the ground, picked up very quickly and booted over towards the member side of the ground. There's a chance for Gale. He came out and hand passed quickly over to Powell, and he's whipped it back and hit the post, I think. No play on us a call, and went over towards the boundary line. It'll be thrown back into play in the forward pocket on the outer side at the members' end of the ground. Time running out in the quarter. It's 23 and a half, 24 minutes played, and the quarters have been about 26 and a half, 27 maybe, and the ball about to be thrown back into play. in Richmond's forward pocket on the outer side of the ground. It's spinning back into play. In comes Salmon, whipped it away, bashed it away over towards the boundary line. That's further round on the flank now, still out of bounds in the forward pocket.
Let's go Sam Newman, Moorabbin.
Lockett shooting for his 4th goal. They trail by 9 points. St Kilda 7-5-47, Geelong 9-2-56.
Ball now being thrown in. Midway, half forward pocket, left attacking flank. Tigers into attack, knocked out by Salmon, went to Filandia. He's besieged, came out. Chris Daniher, hand pass to Kickett. Kickett spiraled the punt kick into the black-blue pot. Here comes Hogg. He'll slipper it off the ground. Spills into the arms of Mitchell. Mitchell picks up 50 metres out in front of Daniher Anthony. Hand pass to Hogg, but the Hogg had gone. He picked it up beautifully with one hand. Kickett will mark, and Kickett has marked left back flank for the Essendon side. Spiral punt kick, spills over, comes in towards Fox, punches it away on the draw, free overrunning the ball. Here comes Goodwin, slow motion, treacle stuff. Free falls over, taps it on, picked up Anthony Daniher. First genuine worm burner of the day came out to Knights, who was tackled. Bandage played, Weightman, short kick, Powell mark, more half forward than wing. Now as he goes back, he'll stand on wing position, Members side, mucking around a bit. He'll put the spiral punt that didn't spiral in towards the arms of Young, couldn't take the mark. Through the arms of Underwood now, diving on the ball. He's got to get rid of it. That's the new rule. Comes out Chris Daniher, gets it across to Filandia, weaves his way through beautifully. A big long high ball. Cloak will mark.
The centre wing position on the outer side of the ground. Time running out in the quarter. Cloak, the Tigers still leading. Cloak kicks to a call over there from Bauer, and Bauer has taken the mark. Still around about centre wing, slightly favouring half forward flank. Going around up towards the forward pocket. They mass there. Knocked to the ground. McMullen over there, but the ball's gone over the line out of bounds and will be thrown in just in front of the bowling green wing. On the half forward flank on the outer side of the ground, the end of which Richmond are attacking as the scoreboard, the members end in this quarter, and the boundary umpire gets it back into play. In the front berth, Salmon didn't do much about it, went to Mitchell, kick it in there with him. Mitchell goes to ground, knocked away. Lambert coming in, kick it over the top of him. Lambert had it, got it out very quickly to Knights. The kick is knocked out, and Watson picks up and drives it up towards centre wing position. It's going to be marked over there by Cloak on the half-back flank, ranging across that area. He's taken several marks over in that area of the ground today, maybe 4 or 5 possibly. Cloak now coming out of the half-back flank up towards centre wing position. 26 minutes have been played in the quarter, and he's dropped it in short to Underwood, who's taken the mark on centre wing position. The umpire's called him on. Now kicks it long over towards the forward pocket, a half forward flank, and Weightman and Izard see it go over the line in front of that small scoreboard over on that bowling green side of the ground. About 26 and a half minutes played in the quarter. Boundary umpire now about to propel it back into play, which he does. Ruckman gathered there in the front berth, Salmon. He got it down to Watson, who eventually kicked it off the ground, out in the direction of Knights, kicked off the ground eventually by Long. Cloak came in and scooped it up again, lost it when he was tackled, came out to Bauer, and Bauer intelligently kicked it towards the line and sees it go over to be thrown back into play.
Sam Newman, Moorabbin, thank you.
Geelong 9-2-56, leads St Kilda 7-7-49.
Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 15 points. They're 6-13-49. Fitzroy 4-10-34.
Richmond lead by 8. 27 minutes gone. Thumped out by Cloak. Went towards Kickett. He thumped it towards O'Donnell, who scooped it on, but it went into the arms of Knights. Knights of Richmond kicked it in. High there was the big fellow in Turner. He knocked it on. It went down towards Chris Daniher. Kicked it into a maze of players. Smith of Richmond hand passes to Gale. That's Turner. Turner now runs around and kicks a long ball right in towards, this time, Gale. Over the top was Daniher, and the ball went through. That was Somerville and Daniher. Daniher, Terry waits for it behind. Richmond 9 points in front, 6-15-51. Essendon 6-6-42. And let's go to Shane Healy, Princes Park.
Adelaide by just a point now, Rex 6-7-43, Carlton 6-6-42.
John Murphy, VFL Park.
North Melbourne lead by 4 points, 10-8-68. Brisbane 10-4-64.
Terry Daniher doesn't reach 50, knocked out by Salmon. Now it's outside. Here comes Bauer on the left boot, picks it up. Weightman should mark and does. So the little flea can line up for his third. He's on a 45-degree angle. We'll call it just 40 metres out. He'll kick from about 42.5 metres. The breeze will come across his left shoulder, so he'll be aiming for that left goal post as we have a look at it from the members' stand. So Weightman, a very important kick at 29 minutes. He puts it on its way, and he has kicked a goal. A goal it is to Weightman. Someone hit the post. The ball sailed through. The umpire put his hands at attention and going through Richmond's 7th goal. They look in trouble, Essendon. Richmond 7-15-57, Essendon 6-6-42. Makita BBC scoreboard. Ball back in the centre. Let's go to you, Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
Well, Geelong 10-2-62 by 14 points and Kilda 7-7-49.
In the air, another salmon knockout here in the centre of the ground, picked up by Knights, who's had a very good quarter. He's kicked it upfield, and that's a good mark by Nace. Richmond too speedy. Nace hand passes it across to Knights, going around that outer flank, and he's kicked it low in towards the forward area. Weightman looking for the free kick stage beautifully, ignored by the umpire. It's kicked back upfield over towards the outer side of the ground, and a good mark over there to Spawn. Spawn on the half-back flank on the outer side for Essendon, taking the traffic around that area, realising time is running out, and kicked it up towards centre wing position. It'll be Richmond knocking the ball over there. The umpire said he threw it. No, he said he's calling play on, and Richmond go upfield from the boot of Turner up there on the outer side of the ground, but the mark is taken by Somerville, pumping the hand pass to kick it, and that's all. That is it. The quarter went, that was the long...
Kick 2. Okay, well, North goalless in that quarter. The Brisbane Bears have kicked 6 goals 2. And North have kicked 2 behind, so they trail at this stage. How'd that kick from Larkin go?
Just fell short, so three-quarter time, Brisbane after us.
It was positive play, so anything's possible, but I think Melbourne can still win.
Thank you, Barrel. Brand new footy, starting the game. He puts it in the air, grabbed by Cloak, kicked it, but it fell into the arms of Lambert. Here come Richmond, here comes Scott, couldn't trap it with one hand. Weightman bursting through the pack, skimmed it on towards Gale, who picked it up. Hand passed it with one of those nice flings out to Scott, went back towards Lambert over the top of the ball. He gives it the flick, but Watson kicks a high ball towards Kickett. He drops the mark. Kicked off the ground, ended up in the hands of Lambert. Lambert has a red-hot go. Free runs into trouble, and so does Barry Young. And the umpire hugs himself, and he'll throw the ball in the air as Richmond immediately into attack down at that school or scoreboard end of the ground. So the ball is in the air. There it goes. Knocked out by Salmon. Buick couldn't take it. Picked up by Johnson of Essendon. Spilled into the arms of Weightman. Weightman spilled the kick back inside 50. McMullen soccers it off the ground. It spills out towards Mitchell. The water flies. Mitchell over the top of the football will be penalised, and McMullen is going to get the free kick, and that was real fairy floss stuff, but I suppose technically it was there, and that's that stupid rule. Here comes McMullen, kicks it down to the wing position on the members' side. Up is Cloak, and Cloak will be paid the mark, and he's played well, the big fellow.
That's the square off. On the centre wing on the members' side of the ground, Cloak kicking up towards the school end, and 2 minutes have gone by in this last quarter. That means there's about 25 or 6 left. Up towards the half-forward flank it goes, and over the line it goes.
Sam Newman at Moorabbin, your score?
To cross me then?
Yes, thank you, mate.
12-13-75 at Geelong. St Kilda just kicked another goal, 8-8-56.
Ball being thrown back into play on the half-forward line for Richmond, members' side at the school end. It's flung back into play in there. Turner had a swipe, it went down to Mitchell. Mitchell tried to get rid of the ball. He's in the middle of a mud patch and everybody else around him, and somehow he got out to Turner, had a quick kick, but the umpires decided to bounce or throw it up.
Let's go Shane Healy, Princes Park.
Still playing here, Rex. Adelaide by 3 points, 6-9-45 to 6-6-42. That's three-quarter time.
Say it again.
6-9-45 Adelaide. Carlton 6-6-42.
Thank you.
That Essendon at 7:15 to 6-6 with Richmond leading on the 3AW scoreboard, St Ova's Vitamin scoreboard, and the ball about to be bounced on Richmond's half-forward line. Umpire putting the ball up in the air, signals the time off. Time on has finished, and now a Turner all over the back of Salmon, and Salmon's got to get the free kick. Salmon in the back pocket for Essendon, defending at the school end, and the sooner they get it out of there, the better. He does that by handballing to Watson. Watson gets the ball under control to kick it up towards the half-forward line, and might have been a mark there. Play on was the call. Ooh, I don't know. Anyhow, Richmond have got the kick, and they've got it in the middle of the ground. A hand pass has come out to Underwood. Underwood got it across from Scott. Underwood now boots it long up towards the full forward spot. They're high there, off the hands of Somerville, over towards the boundary line, and that's where it finishes, out of play on the forward pocket on the outer side at the school end. 57-42 is the point score in favour of the Tigers on the 3AW St Ova's Vitamin scoreboard. Umpire getting it back into play. In there, Somerville. Gale jockeying for position, knocked it down. Weightman going through hard, had it. Roster came out very quickly. Essendon go away with the ball being booted upfield by Chris Daniher. Out towards centre wing. Lambert knocked it away, went down to Underwood. Underwood pops a hand pass out, and over there was Hogg taking it away, taking it around the outer side of the ground. But chopping in over there is Powell. Powell is marked on the half-forward flank for Richmond on the outer side. The man standing the mark is Izard on, standing spot on the 50-metre line, and Powell comes in to boot it long. It's a good kick up towards the full-forward spot. They mass there, knock it down. Watson's handball was excellent. He gave it out to Terry Daniher, who gave it further afield to Izard, accepting. It kicks it around the outer side of the ground where it's bouncing over towards the boundary line. Nobody able to control it, and the umpire has signalled that it's out of play, and it'll be thrown back into play by that boundary umpire. Over there on the half-forward line, half-forward to centre wing position outer side. Richmond going up towards the school end. Back into play it comes. They have the advantage. Float knocked it down. Went down to the ground very quickly there. Well, that looked like a throw, but it might have been some quick handball out in the direction of Lambert. But once again, it was too long. So at 4.5 to 5 minutes in, it's Richmond 57 to 42.
Cloak versus Salmon for the umpteenth time. The umpire now throws the football back into the stadium. Knocked out with double-fisted was Turner. The ball came down to kick it. He couldn't get it, but Young did. No, that was Smith. Hand pass. The hand pass from O'Donnell came again. Went out to Johnson, who kicks a high ball near the boundary line. Cloak goes up, but it was punched away by O'Donnell and out of play. Sam Newman at Moorabbin, your score.
Geelong 13-3-81, 24-point leaders over St Kilda 8-9-57.
Ball knocked out by Salmon from that throw-in. Here comes Smith, can't get the football, very close to the boundary line. In fact, as I speak, it goes over. And three-quarter time, Shane Healy sees Adelaide lead by 3. North Melbourne and Brisbane Bears, John Murphy.
Brisbane lead by 2 points, 11-4-70 to North Melbourne 10-8-68.
The ball knocked out, ended up with Buick on the left foot, in towards left half forward. Here comes Tony Free, picks it up and then slips over. Shane Healy, your score, please, Princess Park.
Adelaide 6-9-45, Carlton 6-6-42, and the Crows will have a slight breeze in the last quarter.
The ball comes back into the stadium. Knocked out by Salmon, went down to Smith. That is of Richmond, a high ball. Out towards Spawn, but buffeting into the football was Anthony Daniher, who's taken the mark. Your score, please, Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 15 points. They're 8-13-61, Fitzroy 6-10-46.
Daniher, Anthony, but no one at home at centre-half forward, at centre-half back for Richmond is marked by Knights. He puts it in the air for Lees. Lees will come away and take the mark, run away. He's got a lead down there. It was a poor kick off the boot. No doubt about that. And the ball goes over the boundary line. But Fairningham, the ball was slippery, folks. Don't get me wrong. He's a very, very good player, young Lees.
About to be thrown back into play, getting up towards Richmond's half-forward line. Coming around the member's side of the ground, the boundary umpire flings it back into play. High was Turner, and he pumped it away up to Nace, who didn't mess around, kicked it off the ground, knocked off the ground by Smith further afield over towards the boundary line. Nace picked it up, slipped and slid all over the place, went out of bounds with the ball, and it will be thrown back into play. Nace thought he was out and the ball was in, but the way I saw it, they were both out of bounds. Anyhow, the boundary umpire is the adjudicator. That's what he thought. 57-42, the Tigers leading. 7 minutes have gone in this quarter now. The ball coming back into play there, high there, knocking it down, kicked off the ground by Anthony Daniher on the rebound, up towards the forward pocket for Richmond. Weightman tapped it out, picked up by Terry Daniher. Kicks up towards Wallace. Wallace there in the centre-half back position. Had it. He was tackled fiercely by Goodwin. Goodwin kicked it off the ground. Trapped further upfield by Izard. Kicking it around the member's side of the ground. Knights, who's been absolutely superb since coming on at half-time, or thereabouts, has seen the ball go out to Long. Long was tackled heavily. Down to the ground it goes. Watson dispossessed by the astute Knights, knocking it away. It come out in the direction of Weightman. Weightman's got to thread his way through some heavy traffic there. He did. A hand pass went up where it was trapped by Buick. Buick well shepherded there by his teammate, and Wallace, I think it was, has kicked it over towards the centre of the ground, and Spawn will take the mark. Look for handball. Now he may have to do. No, he's going on with it. Being called on by Anthony Daniher. Spawn's kicked it up to Madden. Madden reaches for it. Misses it. Down on the ground it goes, and it's knocked over the line by Lees. Out of play, and it's about 55, 60 metres out from Essendon's goal at the members' end of the ground. On the members' side, the traffic, the boundary umpire about to hurl it back into play. Richmond lead by 15 points. Of vociferous effort from Barrackers coming to the fore now. The ball back into play. Up there doing some good ruck work and knocking it down to the ground. Off the boot of Powell, it went over the line out of bounds, and it'll be thrown back into play. On centre wing position on the members' side of the ground. Runners working overtime here, telling players what to do. The boundary umpire has it now at 8.5 minutes into the last quarter. So 57-42, Essendon trailing. Boundary umpire has it now. Richmond going up towards the school end in this the last quarter. Cloak won it again, tapped it out over towards the boundary line, and Buick will see it go over the line, slither over the top of it, and it's got to be thrown back into play again at centre wing position.
Looking for the kick was Buick. Can't believe it. Sam Newman, your score at Moorabbin.
Well, it's three-quarter time, and Geelong lead by 25 points. They're 13-3-81 to St Kilda 8-9-57.
The ball back into the stadium. Here come Essendon. They're trying to lift. Watson has got it very close to the boundary line. Kicks it back into play. Knights, who Bill said has been superb, and he has. He's having a 100% red-hot go. Look at the amount of players there. Blow the whistle, Umpy, and throw it in the air, and he's just going to do that. Here's Ron Barassi.
Yes, a tight last quarter. I guess the first team that gets the next two goals would seal the match in the case of Richmond and win it if it was Essendon.
Sun shining, knocked out by Madden, went to Knights, kicked it in towards Fox. Fox now dummies the kick, gets it across to kick it, spills out of the mud to half forward. Here comes Hogg, left the football behind, got time to pick it up and kick it long. Smith will lead in the race for the ball. Power will come out and shepherd if he can, but he dropped over and kicked off the ground was Smith. It'll spin towards 50 metres, down towards the half forward line. Here comes Spawn, couldn't get it going. Gale comes out, he tries to get it going for Richmond. A very, very good effort there. Sees Nate pick it up on the left boot. A high ball in towards Turner. Daniher's there, one of them anyhow. There's three on the ground and the ball spills over the boundary line and out of bounds. Let's go Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 17 points, 8-15-63, Fitzroy 6-10-46.
17 minutes left in this game. The ball down on the ground, nobody able to control it. Gale was in there, but the umpire's going to bounce the ball. Ironical now, sunshine bathing the ground after such a shocking day.
Shane Healy, Princess Park.
Adelaide by 2 points, 6-9-45 to 6-7-43, just started the last quarter.
Umpire throws it in the air, Gale knocked it down, Kickett had it for a moment, he got it, hand passed out very quickly. Bombers desperate up there in defence. It found its way from Izard out to long bench to Kickett. Kickett at centre half back, driving the ball long up towards the half forward line. Cloak, as he's done so often today, displaying that position between centre of the ground and the half back flank, and he's kicked it after taking the mark across to Powell, who's played very, very well. Powell's long kick, it's a beautiful torpedo, and it's touched on the way through for 1 point only. So the Tigers go on to 7-16-58, leading Essendon 6-6-42. That's 16 points the difference.
John Murphy, VFL Park.
North Melbourne lead by 1 point, 10-11-71, Brisbane 11-4-70.
For Richmond, Turner and Weightman are the major goal kickers. The Fleas got 3, Turner's got 2, and for Essendon, Filandia has kicked a couple.
Terry Daniher about to kick it back into play, coming up towards the line now, and he's moved it from at the school end of the ground out towards his brother. His brother had his hand on the ball but lost it, went to ground. Powell in there. It found its way up to Long at centre half back for Essendon. He picked it up well tackled by Lambert. Down to the ground it goes, and in there and taking it under control beautifully was Turner, who's played well also, and he's kicked a goal. Turner, it's kicked a goal. No, 1 point. It must have been touched. No, the umpires, I didn't see the signal, but the pack came out. But nevertheless, it's a point to take Richmond on to 7-17-59, leading Essendon 6-6-42. The ball kicked back into play. Watson takes the mark in the back pocket, just chips it into Madden. Madden hasn't done a great deal, marking on the half-back flank on the members' side of the ground, defending at the school end, and his kick is shoddy, and it's over the line out of bounds to be thrown back into play. Close to centre wing position on the members' side, 7-17 to 6-6 the Tigers. That's 24 scoring shots to 12, double the scoring shots the Tigers, and the ball coming back into play at 12 minutes into the last quarter. In there, Cloak. Madden beat him on that occasion. Went down to Izard. Izard kicked up towards O'Donnell. Knocked away over towards the boundary line by Smith. He's perilously cloaked the line. Got it to Mitchell. Then Mitchell to Weightman. Weightman had to be quick and he wasn't. It's Long now. Long's got the ball under control. Kicks it to Kickett. Kickett picks it up on the half volley and chops it across over towards Anthony Daniher coming upfield. Knocked away from him. Down the direction of Filandia. Daniher tackled strongly by Goodwin. Play on as a call, and the umpire eventually decides he'll bounce the ball between centre half forward and full forward. Richmond players patting everyone on the back for good defence, and it was too. It's 13 minutes into the quarter. Umpire about to throw it up, 59-42 is the short score. Richmond leading. Salmon knocked it out to Buick, who was tackled by hundreds of players. Eventually came out to Weightman, and Weightman boots it upfield. Back towards centre wing. In there was Lambert. Knocked to the ground again. A chance for Essendon if they're quick enough, and they are through Johnson. Lost the run of the ball. Well tackled there. Beautifully tackled. It's spun out. It's still on centre wing out to Fox. Fox hand passes in towards the centre of the ground. Chris Daniher there is besieged by Richmond players. It spills out, spews out to Mitchell. Lost the run of it, Izard. Pouncing on the ball, booting it upfield, and the little bloke in Filandia has taken the mark.
Filandia comes back like a little racehorse. He's got Salmon. Salmon can't take the football. Lee's good spoiling. Kicked off Buick. Double-handed mark to Hogg. No, the football spills behind. I thought, Ron, if he caught that on the second grab, but the umpire didn't share my enthusiasm.
No, I didn't think he controlled the second grab, but I thought he should have got the free kick for in the back.
Thank you very much. Hogg has got it, kicks it outside. Where's Cloak? There he is, and Cloak takes another mark. That is plenty of marks for the day. That's 10 in these conditions. Magnificent, Cloakey. The ball goes out to the centre wing, kicked off by Smith, who's been a star. The ball now turns end over fist. Here comes Naish, and he skids over like one of those guys on a toboggan coming down Mount Donabuang. Let's go to Sam Newman at Moorabbin.
Geelong by 26 points, 13-6, 83. St Kilda 8-9, 57.
It was like that, Ron. You don't have to spend the petrol to get there. Here comes Fox. He's hand pass to himself. Fox goes out and kicks it. A little 9-iron. Does it go over the boundary line and out of bounds? Yes, it does. And the mud-covered player right across the other side has got it. And I'll take a guess and say it's Underwood.
13 minutes and 20 seconds left in the game, and the ball about to be kicked back into play or back upfield up towards the full forward area, half forward area, and Turner rakes in a pretty decent mark. Been very effective today, Turner. But interested to see his possessions. They may not have been a lot, but he's been effective. He's out there on the half forward flank on the outer side, booting it long up towards the full forward spot. It's gone through the hands of several to Chris Daniher. Daniher getting through the traffic there, does it well. Kick up to kick it, heard a call of leave it and left it, and nobody got it. Kicked off the ground by Turner coming upfield. It's out there over there in the direction of Buick. Buick dodging around a couple of players, gets threads his way through, boots it up towards centre wing where Madden's in attendance, knocked to the ground over there on the centre wing position on the outer side. It came out in the direction of Underwood. Underwood kicked it off the ground, so too did Powell. Then it came loose, picked up over there by Anthony Daniher, kicking up towards the half forward line. Out it is towards Filandia, out there in front of the scoreboard on the bowling green wing, and it's over the line out of bounds to be thrown back into play with just 13 minutes left in the game. 7-17 to 6-7 on the 3W scoreboard, 3W Sanova's vitamin scoreboard. Madden knocked it down. Anthony Daniher picked it up, lost it very quickly. Tigers away. Weightman handballs, but the umpire's going to hold things up, and the free kick is going to go to Essendon over there on that outer flank and on the half forward flank on the outer side. Anthony Daniher with the ball coming up to take the kick, and he's booted it long because he does kick long up towards the full forward spot. It goes. They thrash there. It's loose. Knights has got to do the work, and Lees came in and kicked it off the ground. Weightman coming in also, knocked to the ground in front of Long. Out it goes. Game in the direction of Wallace, twisting and turning onto the left foot. Still on the half forward flank, and Richmond barge away with Hogg, kicking it upfield up towards the centre wing position. There is Watson. Watson fiddling when he should paddle, and now he's picked it up eventually, kicked it up towards the half forward line. The trainer got in the way, should knock him out of the way. Down on the ground is it's the runner, not the trainer. Nobody able to clear the ball. It's on the half forward flank for Essendon. Holding the ball as a call, and Essendon come up with a free kick to Madden.
So Madden plays on, has a fresh air shot, not smart enough that time, Simon. The ball came out all. Lambert copped one right across the chops. Tony Free has a grab, appeals to the umpire, who hugs himself and says, my ball. Let's go Sam Newman, Moorabbin.
Geelong by 25 points. They're 13-5, 83. St Kilda 8-10, 58.
The ball in the air, knocked out by Cloak, went down to Hogg. Hogg spills the football towards 50 near the boundary line. Hogg over the Knights, it is over the top, and it goes out of play. Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 31 points. They're 10-18-78. Fitzroy 6-11-47.
Shortly we'll get to you. There's Shane as the ball now outside 50. Essendon into attack. Members side. Ball in the shadow of the stand. Knocked out of play again. Shane Healy.
By 9 points, 7-10-52 at the 7-minute mark. Carlton 6-7-43.
Johnny Murphy, VFL Park.
Scores at level. North Melbourne 11-11-77. Brisbane 12-5-77.
Ball back into play. Here it comes. Sits nicely. Knocked out by Madden. No one at home. McMullen overrunning the ball. Kicked off Barry Young straight into the solar plexus of Nace. He'll spill the ball towards Powell, who's been magnificent. He's given Spawn the flick. He runs inside 50. He lines the football up behind. Bang! Richmond 7-18-60. Essendon 6-7-43. Gut feeling, Ron Barassi.
Oh, very, very confident for Richmond now.
7.5 minutes into the quarter, and the Tigers, it's in their attacking zone. It's about to be kicked back into play, and Terry Daniher does that, kicking out to the half-forward line. Out there is Lambert. Lambert had it, frisked a hand pass out very quickly, kicked off the ground by Powell over towards the forward pocket area on that outer side of the ground. Essendon don't know what to do. Finally came back out to Terry Daniher. He's kicked it wide to McMullen. McMullen marks on the half-back flank on the members' side of the ground. Transfers play upfield. A chance there for Essendon if they're quick enough to. Fox doesn't know what to do. Eventually kicks it to centre wing to the biggest man on the ground, Salmon, and he plunges forward and takes the mark. Marking on centre wing position, watched closely by Cloak. Out to Buick with a handball into Chris Daniher. They're flowing upfield from the centre wing. He's kicked it wide over towards the forward pocket. Wallace in attendance there. Hand passed out, looking for anybody, but there's three there, and Daniher wins the raffle. Doesn't know which way to go. Hand passes out, looking for Filandia. He got it quickly, kicked it upfield. Tigers knocking towards the boundary line. Tony Free in there, so was Young, and it's gone over the line out of bounds to be thrown in. At 18 and a half minutes in, it's the Tigers 60-43 on the 3AW St Obers Vitamin scoreboard. Boundary umpire about to put it back into play in Essendon's forward pocket. Members side at the members end, and back into play it comes. In there, Cloak battling his heart out. Madden won that one, got it down the ground. Weightman there nearly decapitated and must get the free kick. Weightman now with a free kick in the back pocket. Tough little player, this fellow, as we know. Kicks it wide to Lees, and Lees marks over there on the other side of the ground. Looking to hand pass, doesn't know whether or not. He gave it a Bauer, running Bauer. Centre wing on the outer side, boots it long, up towards the half-forward line. Four buys, went past everyone. McMullen tidying up at the back. A hand pass was dubious, out to Spawn. Spawn onto the left foot, kicks it, hugs the boundary line. Over towards the boundary line it goes, and eventually over the line to be thrown back into play.
Sam Newman of Moorabbin, your score?
Geelong by 32 points, 14-6-90, St Kilda 8-10-58.
Ball back into play, knocked out by Goodwin. Came out to Timmy Watson. He hand passed and got it further afield to McMullen on the left boot very quickly, marked by Buick. Buick kicks it forward again to half forward, looking for Salmon. He's up, and so too is Cloak. Cloak dives on the ball, scoops it back towards his team player. That was Hogg, came in towards Hogg, but it came in towards Weightman, who copped one right on the cranium. It came out to Cloak. No, that was Lees. Lees on the left boot, and here's Smith, who's been sensational. Marks. Ball off the side of his boot. Here comes Powell, and the ball goes over the boundary line and out of bounds. Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 30 points. They're 10-18-78. Fitzroy 6-12-48.
Shane Healy.
Adelaide 7-11-53. Carlton 6-7-43.
Johnny Murphy, VFL Park.
North Melbourne lead by 6 points. 12-11-83. Longmire 5 goals to Brisbane 12-5-77.
Turner for Richmond tried to grab it. Came out towards Smith. Smith got a very quick kick. Went down towards Terry Daniher, who's marked on left back flank for the Bombers.
Driving it across into the goal square to Somerville, marking in that area. Somerville bringing it around the members' side now, up towards centre wing position. Richmond going to win the race for the ball here. It'll be taken under control by Knights, well shepherded by Mitchell. Knights kicks towards the boundary line, and over it goes. 7-18 to 6-7 is the score, and I don't think Richmond are going to have the game pinched by Essendon for the second time this year. It's 60-43, and there's 7 minutes left in the game. Time for Essendon to win, time for Richmond to consolidate. It's in their half-forward line on the members' side, in front of the scoreboard, down at the school end, and back into play it comes. In there, Anthony Daniher, an underhand whack at the ball, missed down to Lambert. Lambert's hand pass is untied in, it's gone out of bounds.
Shane Healy at Princes Park.
Carlton not making any progress, still the Crows by 10 points, 7-11-53 to 6-7-43.
Clock goes past the 20-minute mark in the last quarter at Windy Hill. Back into play it comes. Richmond on their half-forward line. Turner in there, kick it out to go. Turner kicked it off the ground. It goes deeper into the forward line, out of bounds. 7-18 to 6-7, the Tigers leading.
Sam Newman of Moorabbin.
38 points, Geelong 15-6-96, St Kilda 8-10-58.
Umpire about to whirl it back into play in the forward pocket for Richmond at the school end, members side, and back it comes. Richmond crowd up there, anxious to see it over. It's knocked down by Kickett, picked up by Izzard, up towards the half-back flank. Chris Daniher couldn't handle it, Mitchell couldn't. Knights didn't, burst through, tore through the pack, kicked it up towards the forward line. Somerville up there, might have got a nudge in the back that time. Tearing himself free as Terry Daniher. Play on as the call, and the umpire's going to bounce it. He'll bounce it plumb in front of the Richmond goal at the school end of the ground. The Tigers 7-18 from 25 scoring shots. Essendon 6-7 from 13 on the 3AW St Obers Fireman scoreboard. The umpire now about to throw it in the air. He does this, the ruckman there. Gale knocked it, hooked it away. It's over towards Watson in the back pocket. Pressed there by Mitchell. It came out in the direction of Long. Long breaking away, hand passing further afield. Up to Daniher, Anthony Daniher. Kicked off the ground by Fox, that was. Bauer kicks it back upfield, up towards the centre half forward spot. Turner dummies it around, shoots for goal, and this is well away. It's out of bounds on the full. So at 22 minutes in, it's Richmond 7-18 to 6-7.
Terry Daniher, no time left for Essendon. They cannot win. Neither can St Kilda. Fitzroy look gone. We're starting to form a pattern. Carlton can't seem to bridge the gap. and North are getting away with Longmire in top form. So Terry Daniher at the school end takes his time, and he hasn't got a lot, so he kicks it outside 50. Cloak versus Salmon. Went down to Knights, who's been sensational, in towards Scott. Scott of Richmond on hands and knees, taps it back to Barry Young. Here comes Mitchell. He allowed him to go. Long of Essendon hand passes in towards Fresh Air. Kicked off the ground by Buick, and it skims along for 20 metres and then turns over and rolls out just on the Napier Street end of the cricket pitch area. So that is more half forward than wing position with Richmond into attack members' side. They've got the breeze at their backs. They've got the victory smell in their nostrils, and the umpire throws this football back into the arena. It's black. That's the umpire. That's not the umpire. He's white. The ball's black. Came down towards Smith. Hand pass to Knights, who was tagged. Hand pass over the top from Goodwin, went to Buick. Good smother off the boot by Cloak. Picked up by Lambert. Lambert gives them the flick. Beautiful hand pass to Knights. Play on advantage called. Here comes Essendon. Brad Fox fell over. Here comes the ball kicked off the ground by Turner. The ball came out and it was kicked out by Fox. I'll call him. It's Fox. It was. And very, very close to a mark, and it was paid to Buick.
Buick's on the half-back flank on the members' side of the ground. Standing the line is Knights. Buick's kick is short, and over there on the half-forward flank, half-back flank to Izard. Izard now bring it around the members' side of the ground. Bowers high, nearly took a screamer. Down to the ground it goes. Bauer pounces on it. So do to several other players. Kicked off the ground. It's going to slip over the line out of bounds to be thrown in. True centre wing position. Time running out. Essendon supporters packing the bags, about to depart, looking dejected, and so they should be. 7-18 to 6-7. Richmond leading. Essendon will get hooted off the ground by this mob tonight. You can back it in. The ball coming back in a play tonight at the half centre wing position. Cloak swiped away there. On the ground it goes. It came out in the direction of Buick. Knights in there, fossicking around. Buick too, still on centre wing position. Bauer kicked it off the ground. Over towards the boundary line it goes. Picked up by Lambert. Lambert a hand pass to Underwood. He'll enjoy this. Underwood centre wing. Up towards centre half forward. It's gone loose again. Over there is Turner pushing it out in front of him. Down it goes towards the centre of the ground. He's softening it away, and he'll do it again. He boots it with the right boot. Up towards the half forward line. In there is Weightman. Weightman saw it's a throw there, and the free kick will go to Essendon. 25 minutes played, only time on left. Essendon gone.
McMullen has got the football, and McMullen now lines it up and kicks it in towards Anthony Daniher, who marks more in the centre of the ground. On the left boot, one of the worst kicks I've called today. Spawn hand passes to Izard. Izard onto Johnson of Essendon. Johnson now tries to get it onto Terry Daniher, plods his way through, dives on the football, tries to get it going, does Terry, and the ball came out towards, oh, well, you wouldn't know who it was, but I'll call it Lees. It wasn't, it was young Scott. I reckon he's up from the forward line, and there he goes. I couldn't see his number because it's black because of that ooze in the centre of the ground, and why shouldn't it be? We've had litres of rain here today, and the ball back into the arena, knocked out by Cloak. Fresh Air shot by Kickett. See you next week. The ball now comes down towards the player there in Scott. Scott hoists it out towards Young. He couldn't get it. Diving through there was Young again. Kicked off the ground by Izard, right into the back of his opponent, through the arms of Smith. It came out towards Watson. Watson on hands and knees tries to get it to Long. Richmond are too good. Richmond are too determined to get this one back that they lost in the first round. Lambert, it wasn't, it was Knights. He got it around to Barry Young. Young has got a short on, and it's Gale. Gale will come out in front of Somerville. Gale now will concede the football over the boundary line and out of bounds.
26 minutes have been played, all over Red Rover. 7-18 to 6-7, and the ball about to be flung back into play by the boundary umpire. Essendon supporters leaving the ground in droves. It's knocked out. A chance there for Weightman up towards the half-forward line. Weightman wants the free kick, but it's going to be a free kick, but it's against Weightman, and he wasn't too happy about it either. The ball about to be hand-passed out in the direction of Buick. Bearing down on him was Mitchell. Knocked out towards Long, and there is it. The shortest quarter of the lot. 26 minutes. And Richmond deserve the win, and boy are they happy. So they should be. They had it pinched from them early in the year apparently, but they've won this one, and they're absolutely ecstatic. The final score on the 3W Synovus Vitamin scoreboard showed Richmond 7-18-60 defeating Essendon 6-7-43.
Well, I've seen the shortest time on a football ground of all time. There was 7 seconds to go. Barry Young came off the ground, Michael Pickering went on, and the siren went. Birmingham. Well, I just thought I'd mention it. Rather an interesting bit of trivia that didn't mean anything from me. Okay, Richmond today have thoroughly deserved their 17-point win over Essendon. They have been quite superb, and looking at the Essendon players going off, they would appear to be very, very disheartened, but they were beaten by a better side today. On the other hand, we look at Richmond coming up, and I'm sure Andy Goodwin's waving to me, and yes, my word, Andrew, well done today, playing his 50th game. Brendan Bauer, and there's Michael Mitchell. Well, he looks like Al Jolson, but he played his heart out, and certainly that's because of the mud, ladies and gentlemen. Please don't bring up, I mean that in all sincerity. He really put in today, Mitchell. It hasn't been in top form at all. Let us run through the goal scorers for Richmond. Weightman kicked 3 and Turner 2, and 1 Gale and Lambert. There's the second siren. Essendon, Filandia kicked 2, 1 each Madden, McMullen, Spawn and Wallace. So Essendon victorious by 17 points. Let's get a score from Sam Newman down at Moorabbin.
39 points, Geelong lead by 16-7, 103. St Kilda 9-10, 64.
Gary Brice, MCG.
Melbourne lead by 29 points. They're 11-18, 84. Fitzroy 7-13, 55.
Shane Healy, Carlton and Adelaide.
Adelaide by 10 points. We're 19 minutes into the last quarter. The Crows 7-12, 54. Carlton 6-8, 44.
Let's go John Murphy, VFL Park.
North Melbourne lead by 19 points. They are 14-13, 97. Longmire's kicked 7 to Brisbane 12-6, 78 at the 24-minute mark, and they've kicked 2 goals since Roger Merritt was taken from the ground injured.
OK, we'll just take a very brief summary from you just to fill in our listeners, because that game not being covered today.
Well, after half-time, the Brisbane Bears have thrown everything at North Melbourne. In fact, they kicked 6 goals to nothing in that third quarter to get back in front. And at one stage in the last quarter, they were level, and North Melbourne gradually got a goal in front. Brad Hardy had a chance to kick a goal to bring the scores back level again. But then Longmire kicked his 5th goal. Merritt was badly hurt, went off the ground, and Longmire now has kicked the last 2 in the last 2 minutes to really wrap the game up for North Melbourne at the 24 and a half minute mark. North Melbourne lead by 19 points, 14-13, 97. To Brisbane 12-6, 78. A good comeback by Brisbane, but not good enough at this stage.
Thank you very much. And Sam Newman, St Kilda gone.
Well, I told you when they were gone. They were gone at the 16-minute mark of the second quarter.
Yeah, well, that's rubbish, because they got within 8 points. I'm just saying now.
Well, you're not here. It wasn't rubbish.
Pardon?
You weren't here. It's not rubbish.
So when a side gets within 8 points, they've got no chance of winning.
You can tell by the way a side's playing and how they're playing.
Well, would you be good enough to accept my apology? Hello, Earth to Sam.
Yes, do you want the score again?
No, I want, will you accept my apology?
Well, it's up to you.
Thank you very much. It's up to you, because I'm giving you one. Thank you very much. Let's go to Gary Brice at the MCG.
Melbourne lead by 35 points, and we're at the 27-minute mark, and Bennett's just taken a screamer, so they could score another. They're 12-18, 90 at the moment, leading Fitzroy 7-13, 55.
So it looks like Geelong will beat St Kilda and remain the only side capable of beating the West Coast Eagles. And Melbourne will probably get up, Gary.
Yes, Melbourne are past the post.
Yes, thank you for that. Shane Healy at Princes Park.
Well, Adelaide's not past the post. They've got to play out another 5 or 6 minutes of footy, but they're in front by 10 points on the very heavy conditions here at Princes Park. 7-12, 54 to 6-8, 44. And to give you an idea, Carlton's got to kick 2 goals to win it. And there's been only 1 goal in 21 minutes of footy. So I think the Crows are going to get there, Rex.
Let's go John Murphy, VFL Park.
Still playing at the 25 and a half minute mark, and North still lead by that 19 points. 14-13, 97 to Brisbane 12-6, 78.
Yeah, it was a good comeback by Brisbane to put that deficit of 34 points behind them into a 2-point lead at three-quarter time, but obviously run their race.
Run their race now. They're kicking against the Breeze in this last quarter, and John Longmire, in limited chances, has made the most of it. Kicked 7 goals, 1 for the day.
OK, magnificent effort. Let's go back Sam Newman, Moorabbin.
Yes, 38 points, Geelong, 16-7, 103. St Kilda, 9-11, 65.
Nice song, Sam. Let's go Gary Brice, MCG.
37-point lead to Melbourne, who are 12-20, 92 to Fitzroy, 7-13, 55.
Gee, they turned it around, Fitzroy, but just like Murph said, Brisbane Bears run their race. It looked like Fitzroy used up a lot of their gas.
Yes, they. I think the wind in the last quarter certainly been a big advantage to Melbourne, and they used it very well. It's in fact the best quarter of football, because the other three were atrocious.
Yeah, with the erection of that stand, we now would see that with that southern stand that the MCG over the years has been sheltered from all that wind, but now there's another ball game with the open spaces there.
It is, but I couldn't use that as an excuse for the players. It's just been deplorable. Some of the skill level, even considering the conditions, has been shocking. I've never seen players who can kick the ball to an opposition player who's 20 metres standing on his own. I mean, that's just happened all day.
Thank you for that. Shane Healy, Princes Park.
Well, Dorothy has just plucked a mark in 25 metres out. This is Carlton's last chance. They're 9 points down, Rex. We're 24 minutes into the last quarter. I reckon about 2 to 2.5 minutes of footy left at 7:12:54 Adelaide. And Carlton 6:9:45. Dorothy just kicked 3 of their 6 goals. He's played a pretty fair game, actually.
Yeah, excellent. Thank you very much. Johnny Murphy, VFL Park.
25-point lead to North Melbourne, 15-13-103. Longmire has now kicked 8 goals, 4 goals in this quarter to Brisbane 12-6-78 as Shaki lines up for goal.
Terrific. We'll clear some commitments here and just monitor that game with Shane Healy, if you don't mind. How far gone your game, Marab and Sam Newman?
24 minutes, Rex.
Thank you very much. Geelong will win that. And Richmond today
overcoming a bad start to beat Essendon at Windy Hill. The Bombers, who have now lost 4 of their past 5 matches, only kicked 3 goals after quarter time and have slipped to 6th on the ladder. Kim Sporton reports.
In the mud at Windy Hill, Essendon had some early luck with the ball falling perfectly for Filandia, but no luck involved as McMullen defied the conditions, his long bomb giving Essendon a comfortable quarter-time lead. The Tigers registered 9 behinds before finding the goals, Turner doing it in spectacular fashion, while Weightman adopted soccer tactics, as did the lumbering Gale, who levelled the scores. Turner's second for the quarter gave Richmond a 2-goal break at half-time. They had a chance to increase that early in the third term, but no one could believe Goodwin's miss, not even the player himself. Weightman made up for it shortly after, stealing the ball and then kicking truly. With his third after a mark, skipper Weightman made it look safe for the Tigers, even with a quarter to go. With not a single goal in the final term, Richmond looking the more likely, but their kicking let them down. It mattered little at the final siren, the Tigers avenging their narrow early season loss, the Bombers with plenty of problems. Kim Sporton, 7.